Greetings, friends, and welcome to another episode of The Mistake Zone, your weekly dose of our lives and the mistakes within them. My name is Jaren Wade. Joining me, as always, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Matt Alba. Hey, Matt.
Yo.
How are you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good.
Matt, that's great. Also joining us this week, another one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Rakush. Hey, Rakush.
Jaren Kun. Genki desu ka?
So, Matt, I come to you this week as a very sleepy boy.
Jared, you can respond to Rakush. You have so many days of Duolingo. I believe in you, man.
Onegaishimasu.
Boys, I am a very sleepy boy this morning because Rakush, picture this, and it's not going to be hard to picture. It is currently 12 a.m. on a technically Saturday morning arcade.
Yes.
And I message our mutual friend, Matt Alba, that, Matt, I have to wake up at 4 a.m., but I don't want to go to bed. And Matt just said, at 4 a.m., might as well just stay up the whole time.
Oh, no, Jared, you stay up the whole time.
Matt, what if I told you I stayed up the whole time?
Oh, man.
And what if I told you I barely got any sleep the remainder of the day? So that's why I woke up 10 minutes before this recording.
That tracks.
Why'd you have to wake up at 4?
My partner and I, we ventured down to the Lakeshore area to participate in, surprise, Record Store Day, where, you know...
Oh, nice.
I'm just going to say this. I do love whenever Record Store Day comes up, the algo does point out how manufactured Record Store Day is and how it's actually bad for the industry and all this stuff. But as me, a consumer who likes to consume, this is the first time we tried Record Store Day in this particular area since last year we went to the one where we previously lived and got there 6 a.m., waited 2 hours, got in, got a haul. And boys, the only reason I'm telling you this, one, to tell Rakush about my haul because, you know, dirty consumption. But two, since it was a small space, we went to High Notes, Coffee and Vinyl on Lakeshore. And boys, if Rakush, I'm not sure if you've been there, but Matt,
I have.
Rakush, met the owner. You know, not trying to disparage him or anything, but he gave me very Jaren energy, and I thought, wow, this is me in another lifetime.
Oh, man.
But that's neither here or there.
I don't like that you started that with, don't want to disparage him, but he's reminding me of myself.
Well, Rakush, I don't know if
Rakush, we're in the mistake zone.
There's a lot of self-hate going on in here, Jared. Rakush,
I don't like it.
I hate when I meet people like me because I'm awful.
Learn to love yourself, guys. Learn to love yourself.
So it's a small store, and they would only thankfully, even though they didn't take your orders beforehand, they only let 8 people in at a time just so everyone can get what they want as long as quantities lasted. And when we were waiting for our turn in the door, we found out that the employee working the door, she currently went to UTM, which for those, you know, for Saturday Morning Arcade lore, that's where Saturday Morning Arcade was born, the college radio station at the University of Toronto, Mississauga campus. And,
shout out
you know,
CFRE.
we got to talking. Shout out to CFRE. And, you know, we asked her, is she part of the radio? She wasn't. We encouraged her to apply, you know, great times, great memories there. But when this whole conversation began, we asked, we heard you mention you went to UTM. And she said, yeah, are you guys students? And boys, here's my mistake. I said, and boy, I know I undersold this, but I said, I'm 13 years removed.
Oh, no.
And she said, with a shocked face, oh my God, you guys don't look it at all. You guys are almost my father's age. He's 40. And boys,
oh, man.
I crumbled.
Oh, man.
I crumbled and I melted into dust. Where she clocked her reactions and said, but you guys don't look at it at all. You know the exchange, boys.
Oh, man.
I was not, you know, we were playing Pocopia. I was the Grimer. I was the Muck. Roaming throughout when it was my turn in the store.
Oh, man. Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
I understand, boys. We're closer to the big 4-0 than we are to graduating post secondary, but the feels right there, boys. The feels,
man.
and my tummy still hurts.
My kidney hurts after hearing that.
My tummy still hurts. But before we get into our seasonal episode, Rakush, I got to tell you our haul. Matt,
Can I take a guess at one
Okay.
thing you got?
Yes.
The K-pop Demon Hunters vinyl.
Ooh, which one though? There are two variants. There was the Saja Boys art and the Huntrix art.
I feel like you're someone who'd get both.
Ooh.
Ooh. Rakush. I impulse bought the Huntrix version. Mark was the one who bought the Saja Boys version.
No.
Nice.
Does that surprise you?
0%, dude.
Yeah, that's like I had friends who don't even own a record player go out to buy the K-pop Demon Hunters one yesterday, and I was like, "Cool, I'm going to file my taxes. I will not be buying a record this year."
I found my taxes too yesterday.
What was the only reason we went off was the promised tax return, so I felt less guilty for this exchange.
Basically free money.
But I think the coolest album that we got was the actual Bring Me the Horizon release, which was their, Bring Me the Horizon metal band, hard rock band. But they did release a lo-fi album for Record Store Day this year. And boys, take a guess what the cover art for this album is.
Is it anime?
Is it Lo-Fi Girl?
It is a goth metal version of the Lo-Fi Girl, and
Of course.
it's actually a really cool print. This is one of my favorite vinyl packaging, where the vinyl itself kind of has a cutout of her, at the desk. I'm gonna send you guys a picture, and the actual poster fold in the back is just a big poster that you can swap in and out. So if you wanted to switch what her background is. That was kind of cool too.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
yeah, it's just a lo-fi album, good to have. And other than that, got the Talking Heads recording, got the Weezer original press of their first album, Fall Out Boy live at Madison Square Garden, the Baby Metal sampler from their O2 show. As I said before when we talked about Olivia Rodrigo, just kind of a big fan of live recordings. I got the Pink Floyd recording, the Paramore re-release for the anniversary. Rakush,
Yes.
can I ask you something embarrassing?
Yeah, sure.
Is it Laffy? Is it Luffy? I don't know how to pronounce popular female vocalists. It's Laffy, right?
Sorry, I thought you were asking me about the One Piece character, and I was a lot more confident in my answer before you said it's the singer. Now I don't know. I'm sorry.
I know we don't talk about Fortnite on the show anymore, but latest Fortnite festival artist Laffy. Also her live recording, and then of course 7-inch of Charlie XCX's Party for You, and of course some Taylor Swift one that you have to get because everyone else is trying to get it. So
For a split second, I was like, man, 7-inch of Charlie is a wild band name. And then I was like, oh, okay, never mind.
oh man, but no, I don't know, check it if you are able to find the Bring Me the Horizon vinyl. Just really impressed by the packaging, really cool. But those were our hauls.
Yeah.
Afterwards, we were able to get breakfast with our pal Kevin since he was nearby at the time. So, good morning. And then the rest of the day, I was a zombie that was crashing out throughout.
Well,
So that was
Fair enough.
that was my day. But boys,
Also,
What's up?
sorry, I think I'm a little bit surprised that like the lineup for record store days are starting at 4 a.m. now because I haven't gone for a couple of years, admittedly, because nothing's really caught my attention. But like, at least in like 22, 23, the lineups were never like that long. Like I could still go around like 10:30, 11 and pick up like the things I want to pick up. Is it just that it's gotten that popular in the last couple
I
of years?
think it's just so the last few years we've did it, there have been, as mentioned, those Taylor Swift 7-inch releases. And honestly, it's the Swifties going hard. Where I think last year we were around like 30th in line, and the store got, I believe, 26 of those Taylor Swift EPs, and we got the second last one when it was finally our turn. So it is people, lining up. And I think it's just that communal event where people are just lining up early. You're talking to the people around you, seeing what they're getting. And honestly, depending on what you want, a lot of these stores are only getting like limited quantities of select things. So it is that FOMO of it, where looking at our haul right now, like the Baby Metal album, for example, they only got one copy of that. So sure, if you're looking for the K-pop Demon Hunters one, if you're looking for kind of some of the bigger mass releases, you'll be fine not going. But when you're talking about a store only getting 2, 3, or even sometimes one copy of a limited release, and sometimes they're not limited, but still that store's only getting such limited quantity, you kind of just go for it. Plus it's not, this well, this is the Boxing Day feeling of yesteryear of, let's just go to stand and see what the vibes are like. And the vibes were pretty okay this year around,
right?
So
where people thought I was trying to cut in line with you to buy a TV, and I'm like, brother, I can't afford a TV. This is when we're like 19 or 20 years old.
Man, those days,
good old days.
Those days. Specific memories of me wearing Vans slip-ons to those midnight standings, and my not being able to feel my feet by the time we had breakfast. But
classic.
Yeah,
boys, we're here not to talk about albums I bought, but spring season anime. Boys, Rakush was messaging us throughout the group chat saying, new anime season, we got to do the show. And I thought, I'm down, Rakush. I'm down because I love spring season anime. And boys, I think there's one this season that might be, front runner of my anime of the year. Matt, Rakush, Did you check out Hitori Bochi no Marumoru Seikatsu? It is one of my favorite spring anime of this year. Just a really endearing show featuring, it's a character trying her best. And Matt, you know me, I love characters trying my best.
Of course.
Matt, another guys, what's up, Rakush?
Jaren?
Yes.
Jaren. Just asking out of curiosity, did you by any chance get an injury while standing in line for Record Store Day? I need to check what year it is for you.
No, you said spring season. So I went on, the Google, I typed in spring season anime, good year ? Just because I want to make sure I'm watching quality anime. And,
of course.
I see. I see. Okay.
I'm really looking forward, Jaren, because, this was such a good anime that I expect the year, next year, sorry, that, they definitely will be releasing a season 2 because it was such a fucking banger, right?
Just high hopes for this episode. Matt, I really hope the seiyuu of Hitori Bochi goes on to have a long career. But at the same time, if she chooses to finish school and go into other route, I would respect that too. But just based on her performance in the first episode, really hoping the best for her if she chooses to go down this route. Yeah, but Matt. I see. Did you check out? Guys, I hate this bit. Rakush.
Yes.
Set us up right now.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sharon. Yeah, look, spring anime season. It is, in business terms, our quarterly review of how the state of anime is, I guess, if you want to use corporate lingo like that. But it seems like an interesting season. Mild spoilers, did exchange some notes with Matt when we were talking about which shows we want to talk about, and at least from initial reactions, it seems like Matt, you and I have a little bit of a different take on the strength of the overall batch of series that are debuting this season. We'll break it down a little bit more piece by piece, but no, it to me seems like a pretty packed season with a lot of cool new shows. But then also, like, there's some returning stuff. Want to obviously give a shout out to One Piece officially starting quote unquote season 2. As crazy as that sounds.
Oh man.
Fist of the North Star's got a remake. That's a cool one. The closing is the original opening theme, US Shock. Still almost brings a tear to my eye, so that's great. And then there's a bunch of isekai slop that is into seasons 2 and onwards.
Man.
I'm not gonna give any love to
Rakush,
those, but Matt,
there wasn't a lot of new isekai slop for me to go into this season. So, there's a lot of big returning isekai slop that I'm gonna eat right up.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned that, because I ended up watching a total of 22 animes from this new season that are new debuting series. We're not talking about all of them. We're going to talk about, I believe, 13 of these. But I ended up watching 22. And I was like, this is surprisingly high, because in the last couple of seasons, I would skip anything that has isekai in the name. Neither of those 22 were isekai.
Mm-hmm.
So it does seem like a little bit of a trend away from at least new franchises in that genre, which I'm grateful for. Thank God. But Matt, Jaren,
what's up?
We got 13. Matt, which one do you want to start with?
Ooh, okay, Rakush. Why don't we start with, of course, gals can't be kind to otaku.
Of course, of course. Honestly, I think it's an interesting pick, because Jaren, from the sounds of it, you haven't really had a chance to watch a lot of anime this season, so maybe after what we talk about here, some of these might catch your attention a little bit more as well. So I think this is a strong one to start with, to see if this would be of any interest to you. Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku. Have you read the manga for this one before, Jaren?
Yes, as my good friend Matt Alba said last week, everyone loves the nerd gotcha's a baddie genre.
Of course.
And this is... This is one of those to an extent.
Yep, this is one of them.
Yeah, basically. Quick summary. I don't know if this needs even that much of a summary, but I'm going to try to read some of these off of the live chart websites. Main character's name, Takuya Seo, quiet otaku, surprise there, who keeps a low profile at school, surprise there, until two gals from his class start talking to him, surprise there, it's 2 instead of 1. The cool but scatterbrained Keiamana and the cheerful and energetic Kodoko Ichiji couldn't be more different, but the 3 soon bond over anime, games, and shared fandom. But one question remains. Do nice gals who hang out with otaku really exist? Matt, do they really exist?
Oh, man. I love the picture where, the picture of, that they always use for, why can't I remember this guy's name right now? It's not Kojima. Kojima's the name that's showing up. Who's the dude? Miyazaki. The one with Miyazaki, where the usual one where they put, anime is garbage or whatever.
Anime was a mistake?
Yes, anime was a mistake. I love when they replace the anime with mistake is with, gals who like otaku don't exist in real life. It's always a good goof. Oh, man.
So what are your thoughts about this show?
Okay.
Yeah.
This show is so I also read the manga for this as well prior to going in, and this was one of those ones where I'm watching it to see, how's the animation and stuff going on. And I'll be honest, kind of weirdly, I don't know if you guys will get what I mean in this. There was more animation in this show than I expected there to be.
I kind of get it. It's a weird amount of detail and things that wouldn't catch your attention otherwise,
yes,
right?
Yes. And I think it was overall I think the anime itself was just pretty a generally fun watch. Rich, I don't know if you noticed this as well for this season, but this season I just saw so many shows with bumpers. And I don't know if they're just leaving them in now. Because, I'm not being a good Christian boy and watching these where you're supposed to be watching them.
Oh, yeah. You're still in the 70s. It's cool. Yeah.
But, there was just so many bumpers. And I was so surprised at how many of these shows... I think every other show I watched this season had its bumpers left in it. And, I don't know. I was just generally surprised. Because, I just wanted, that Full Metal Alchemist style bumper drop.
Full Metal Alchemist.
And, Jaren, this doesn't really, I think, matter for most people, but I think it'll matter for you. 2 minutes into the show, they drop the title in dialogue. So,
I mean, that's points. That's plus, that's plus 2 at the very least.
And okay, Rakush, I sent you my preliminary list of where I had everything. Yeah. And I think initially I had this in pass.
Yes.
But I have reconfigured my list and I have made Rakush a new tier.
Oh God. Okay.
Which I'm putting between 3 episode and pass, which is called Degen Freaks tier. And that's where I think this lives. Like, you know, Otaku Gal
you want to pass it, but you can't avoid it.
Yes, Otaku Gal is a genre where if you like it, you're gonna watch it. Like, don't lie to yourself. Yeah. This is the slop that you are going to be eating, and you know, I think like if that is a genre that you enjoy, that you're gonna watch this regardless. So you know, I'm gonna put it in the Gen Freaks tier. But
To be fair, like, I don't know if the first episode had a lot of degen stuff in it, right? Like, I felt like it was more just like your standard, like pop culture-y sort of like, you know, comedy stuff. Yeah, but like it doesn't seem very fan servicey yet. Did I miss something?
No.
Or like,
Sorry.
did I not pay attention?
Rakush, it's not fan servicey at all. But considering the other things that I've moved into my Degen Freaks tier, you know, I think this more so is a Freaks than Degen.
Okay. I think the only freakish thing about this one for me was the eyes. I think like it's just weird eyes, or like they're weirdly animated, tied to like what you were saying earlier. I don't think I can look past that. Yeah, like it's just something about itself.
I mean, the animation style for this is a little. It's weirdly stiff in some parts, but then it's like animated like pretty smoothly in others, which is like really weird to me. But the voice acting I think is like very on point for like the characters. I think like the comedy for me is like generally there. It has the correct amount of gal liking otaku stuff that I would expect in this sort of thing. And like you know, like, generally like this is like the kind of that I would like check out no matter what anyways.
Yeah, I think like what I'm saying about the eyes is not like a testament to the quality of the animation. I think it's just like a certain art direction choice that they've made with that, or like, you know, it's tied a little bit closer to the manga itself. It just kind of gives off too much of a Bratz doll vibe to me.
Oh, like, I get what you mean.
So, yeah, it's just like it's a little too much like those, where it's kind of like, oh, okay, like not really aesthetically something that I'm interested in. That is not to say that this is going to be a bad series or a good series. It just doesn't seem like this specific series is something that I'm interested in. Which, like, I've seen a few different versions of the same story being told, right? There was, what was it? Hokkaido Gals, Okinawa Gals. Like, I mean, I've seen like an episode here or there for all of those, and I think it's kind of all in the same genre for the most part. Like, each year there's at least one of these. But yeah, if you like it, I'm sure you're going to watch it. So all that to say, Jaren, when are you going to watch this? It's not an if you're going to watch, it's when.
Jaren, are you still reading the manga or no?
I'm a few chapters behind, but it's something I'll peek in. But just to kind of speak to this in particular, one, when I first started reading this, the eyes of the girls in particular was something that kind of caught me off guard, just because they are... I did find them oddly contrasting to the rest of the style of, you know, what is atypical manga for the most part. And to see that translated into the anime from, you know, what little I did watch, and especially, of course, the OP and ED have found their way onto my algo as per usual.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And yeah, that's something I was kind of impressed by, that they were able to kind of keep that same uncanny uneasiness I feel towards them, how their characters are drawn. So that's something I did appreciate. But no, it's kind of, as you guys were saying, you know, if you like this genre, where from at least where I left off in the manga, Matt, like, it was everything I would expect from an otaku character and his adjacent gal friends. So then again, I'm not looking for innovation in this genre. I'm just looking for a good time. And I don't know, it's one of those where, since I have the quote unquote source material on hand, it's a harder sell for me to watch the anime when there's so much in the backlog already. So I think this might be my background tier based on, you know, what you guys are talking about, since I have that am familiar with it, but at the same time not really dying to see it. But I think that's how I'll see it moving forward. Right. Good OP and ED visuals at the very least.
Yeah, I totally forgot about the opening. This opening is K-pop as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
There's a couple of those this year where it's like it's very K-pop heavy inspired. Like one we're not going to talk about, but there's a series called Kill Blue that has a shockingly stylish opening and closing in a way that I did not expect from a series like that. So, yeah, interesting season for that. So it sounds like it's kind of veering in like an if you like it, give it a shot situation.
Yeah.
For me, I think I'm going to pass on it, but also sounds like if you want to read the manga, like that's a cool version to go check out as well. So that is Gals Can't Be Kind to Otaku. Is there an answer to that question? We'll find out in 12 episodes, I guess? 13 episodes? I don't know. But yeah, we'll find out soon. Matt, you mentioned Full Metal Alchemist, and I feel like I'm going to use that as a segue into the second show that I want to talk about, which is Demons of the Shadow Realm. I think it's pronounced Demons or Daemons.
I think it's Daemons.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
Daemons?
Yeah.
Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Okay, alright. That makes sense. Well, this one's an interesting one, and the reason I mention Full Metal Alchemist is because it is actually from the same author. And to the point where once you know it's from the same author, you are looking for a lot of Full Metal Alchemist in this series as well. At least for the first episode, just gonna kind of read out the blurb here again. In a world where certain humans command mighty supernatural duos called Daemons, it is the birthright of, quote-unquote, the children who sunder day and night, twins Yura and Asa, to rule over these powerful entities. Separated from a young age and unaware of the truth of their birth, brother and sister must fight to make their way back to each other, claim their birthright, and save the world. Mild spoilers for this one, I guess, in that blurb, but yeah, that just about sums up what the world is that they're trying to build out. I think, like, some of the things that are not mentioned in this blurb is the separation between sort of like the village that Yuru and Asa are living in and sort of like, you know, the outside world are. But yeah, it seems like you have some thoughts on that.
Rakush, I could not take like the first half of this episode seriously because, okay, what happens in this episode is like it kind of sets up, hey, it's almost like you're in feudal Japan era, and then you know, kind of like, you know, in the blurb, it turns out, hey, they're in modern day, and the whole time there was just like, you know, people are just getting like killed. I'm like, man, why is the army attacking all these like Japanese Mormons? And I couldn't take this opening seriously.
Yeah, I think also just like the dude pulling out a flip phone and like, you know, dressed in traditional Japanese garb, like there was certainly like a contrasting aesthetic that they were absolutely going for with the opening here.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's an interesting series. It is Bones Film again, so like, you know, they have the whole gang back here. And when I say Full Metal Alchemist, man, you will know it's Full Metal Alchemist creator, because there's already a character that has blonde hair, long ass ponytail, super short, wearing a red jacket. Jaren, does that sound familiar to you?
Are we going through the anime cliche or, you know, unoriginal character designs notebook right now? Because I feel like I can open to any page in that notebook and I'll find that character in particular.
Yeah. This one's a funny one more so than anything, because it seems that specific character, the coloring was decided upon by Hiromu Arakawa, who's the creator, her assistants. And so like that seems almost like a little bit of a wink and a nudge. But I feel like once you see that, you almost start seeing like comparisons prop up naturally with like other characters as well. Like you have a character with an eye patch. You have these like, you know, square jawed, like bearded old men or like middle-aged men. And like, you know, you absolutely get a lot of like the similar characters in this series as well. And I think that familiarity can go either way. You either take that and you stick around with the show for the long run, or you're kind of like, hey, this doesn't seem all that original, right? For me, I think enough of what they're trying to build up with the story and the world and the characters, enough of it is there for me to stick around with it. And I do love Full Metal Alchemist, so like I think combined with sort of like the intrigue of the story and sort of like, just this pedigree that the author has, I think I'm going to stick around with this one because it does seem interesting. I also kind of like the power set that they're building up here. Matt, I don't know if you got past episode 1, so I'm not sure how much of that you've seen.
No, I think for all of these, I stuck to episode 1 for everything unless it didn't have its OP. Then I went to episode 2 just to watch the OP.
Fair enough. Also, side note, sorry. I hate OPs that spoil a lot of like the story, which is happening with this one.
Rakush, I feel like that's par for the course for anime. And I think for me, just because Otaku Gal was one of the early ones I watched, I wanted to see more OPs.
That is fair, and I do think that OPs nowadays are meant to set up a lot of like the themes of the season and all of that stuff as well, right? Like it's a little bit of a wink and a nudge to those that have read the manga, and I guess if you haven't read the manga, it can end up being more of like a teaser, but to me it just plays as a spoiler more than anything else. Like I think the Fire Force final season second core opening was really egregious in terms of like who you see in that opening and how it spoils like the big finale.
No, two things there where I totally agree. Like Rakush, I tend to, as much as I love a good OP, I tend to skip them until at least episode 6, 7, because that's where all the characters at that point are pretty much established, so there's nothing really out of the line. I know you run the risk of, our favorite Mats, where the change with new characters being introduced, if that's what they go for. And if they do, that's what I really appreciate. But yeah, for the most part, I'm skipping an OP until at least very late in the season. And on the second note, Rakush, you said final season second core, and I threw up in my mouth. I hate that shit.
I also hate that shit. Yeah, I hate what Attack on Titan has done to animes. Like,
I think final season second core is fine. I think it's like when you go into final season part 2 that it's different.
Isn't that the same? Or like, are you saying it's like they have a final season 24 episodes, take like a year off, and then say final season part 2?
Yeah. Like, I think for me, final season second core is you had a 24 episode season and you're just in the second half of it.
Okay, that's fair.
I think the Fire Force one, I agree with Jaren though, because there was quite a large gap between the first 12 episodes and the final 12, or like first 13 and final 13, that like at some point just call it its own season, right? Like I don't think you need to. I don't know. Like to me, that seems almost a weird way of like building up this hype that you're in the final act, but then that also sometimes can just come across a little bit like there's a lack of planning in like the episode breakdown and stuff like that. I don't know. I agree with Jaren on that.
I guess it really depends on like the grouped release of the episodes, because they probably make sense like to be one season, quote unquote, as a group. But I get what you mean when it's like separated by time.
Yeah. If you're binging it, sure. Like, I don't think that's whatever, right?
I think this is a different version of the movie versus like series.
No, I hate that for movies now too, with the part 1, part 2 stuff.
I also hate the trailers for movies as well. Man. I think in general, I just kind of hate anything that's teasing like the like big story.
Rakush, next episode, we're talking about two movie trailers. You can't hate the trailers just yet.
I mean, listen, are they spoiling anything, or do we care about spoilers for those? We'll see. But teaser for next episode.
There's an art to a good trailer.
Yes,
both the trailers are good at art. I think. Spoilers again.
Okay. Guys, this is Demons of the Shadow Realm. What's up, Jared?
Oh no, I was gonna ask, is Attack on Titan done?
Yeah,
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna watch it, Jaren?
Fuck no.
Oh man.
But tell me more about actually Rakush, this anime.
Yeah.
You said there are obvious I guess not necessarily references, but at least the same feeling as you would get from Full Metal, for example. And I guess my question to you guys, when an anime, from either from the same studio, same director, same artist, but has that spiritual successor, at least not necessarily a spiritual successor, but that same feel, that same vibe to it. When you go forward trying to recommend it, I'm not sure about the case for this in particular, but in general, for an anime like this, do you always have to add? Do you add that caveat of you could check this out, or but I would recommend you go to the original quote unquote source material, or are you still trying to treat them both as separate?
That's an interesting question. I think there's a couple of different answers to that one as well. I think there's some instances where it just comes down to, hey, the manga is better than the anime. Go check that out. Fair. There's some instances where the sort of like similarities, even if they're tonal similarities between the series, it's there. And so it just kind of depends on how you feel about the original source material, right? And that might seem a little bit non-committal, but the reason I say it like that is to bring it back to Daemons of the Shadow Realm. How you feel about this series, if you know about Fullmetal Alchemist, will depend a little bit on how you personally enjoyed Fullmetal Alchemist. Because for me, there's certain expectations that are now set up with this show based on the similarities and based on the same author. And so as I'm going to be watching this, I am to some extent going to be comparing the two. Now, could it break up, or like could it separate itself from Fullmetal? Absolutely, right? Like I am very open to that possibility. And the story is very different. I think the similarities all really just kind of show up in character traits, in art style a little bit, of course. But in general, I would say the storytelling is, or the story being told, the genre it's being told in, is different enough that I don't think that you can hold Fullmetal Alchemist as a one-to-one comparison beyond just say like, hey, it's the same author. But I do think that there's certain heightened expectations for me because of my affinity for that original series. Right. So yeah, I think it does depend case by case. I think in this instance, expectations are a bit higher. This is a 24 episode season from what I can tell. So I am kind of curious, like, you know, with having like 2 full cores, let's call it, to like, you know, really tell the story and to, I'm sure like the story's not done yet, but to like, you know, just get to the end of the series. I'm curious how it goes. I'm curious how the quality holds up and how the story unfolds. So yeah, I think it depends.
Alrighty. But so do you recommend this one?
Yes, this one for me is a recommendation. For me, it's in the must-watch category. Matt, what did you have this as?
I mean, to be honest, when I kind of look at the show on its own, for me, this is like mid 3 episode probation.
Okay.
Because I honestly do think that the setting for this is kind of like convoluted. But it like rises to high recommendation when I consider the author. Like, I think for me, the like knowing that this is a Fullmetal Alchemist, Fullmetal Alchemist author's like next work is, it's not raising my expectations for it. Like I think it's raising for you, but it's raising my faith in it, of it being good later. Because I think it starts in a pretty like mundane place for me.
I think I agree with you about that, and I think I had the same reaction with sort of like it starting in a mundane place, is I wasn't quite certain what they were building up. So I think in this instance here, probation, if you have no affinity for Fullmetal Alchemist, I do think probation is the right spot for this to be in, because episode 1 tells you nothing about the world. It only tells you about the characters, right? So like you get a good sense of, here's your main guy, or like main guy with some of the supporting cast, but there's still a lot of mystery that needs to be unraveled. And so then you get to like an episode 2, you get to an episode 3, and then you start figuring out a little bit more of just sort of like, hey, this world is not what you see in episode 1. So I think I kind of, if I'm looking at it objectively, I think I agree with you that this is a probation series, as in like give it 3 episodes, see what the world is, and I think like that'll give you a good idea of like, you know, how you're going to feel about it for the most part. Last thing I do want to mention about this one before moving on is this series, the manga, started in like 2022. So it's still a relatively new one. Like it's still like an ongoing thing. And it's a monthly release. So if you're looking for a complete story, I actually don't know if you're going to get a complete story. It's currently only 52 chapters in 24
So,
episodes.
Rakush,
What's that?
what you're saying is wait for Daemon's siblinghood.
Damon brother. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But no, it is new, right? So like I don't think the 24 episodes is going to be the full story, unless they're doing like an original ending for this one, which I hope doesn't happen again for one of her series, but because what are the chances? But hey, it is what it is. That is Daemons of the Shadow Realm. Matt, what do you want to talk about next?
I mean, while we're kind of like on the, I guess, author's next work, or other works, I guess in this case, Ramparts of Ice is where I'd like to go.
Ah, yes. Okay, Jaren, this one I think is an interesting one for you as well. Let me read out the blurb for this one as well, right quick, before we go into it. So, Ramparts of Ice, Koyuki Hikawa is a socially withdrawn student who keeps an emotional wall between herself and others. The only person she spends time with is her childhood friend, Miki Izumi. One day, Koyuki's quiet life is disrupted when a boy named Minato Amamiya inexplicably starts trying to break through her barriers. That sounds a little bit more aggressive than it is. It's a dude that's trying to talk to her. The aloof Koyuki, the popular Miki, the overly familiar Minato, and the laid-back basketball player Yoda share an awkward, occasionally frustrating yet wholesome student life. An ensemble drama shaped by the cross paths of youth is about to begin. It's always weird trying to read out these blurbs because there's always like a sentence like that last one where I have to like put some mustard on that.
Yeah.
And it's like,
well, they like that flowery language in show descriptions to make you interested.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. This one's an interesting one because last season there was a series, You and I Are Polar Opposites, that Matt, you and I were absolutely positive about. I think honestly, like even talking about it now, probably one of the best from last season. It is from the same author whose name I hope I'm pronouncing correct is Teiya Agasawa. The Teiya is spelled Tea as in tea. So like I'm hoping I pronounced that right. But it's the same author. Yeah. It's the same author. It is wildly different protagonists. And it really is, like, I think it's wildly different protagonists.
I think the protagonist just gender swap.
Who do you think is the protagonist of Polar Opposites?
I would say, the main girl and, like, the peppy guy. Yeah.
Wait, peppy guy?
The peppy guy. The peppy guy. The dude who's like...
Sorry,
Minato,
for Polar Opposites?
Oh, no, for Ramparts. For Ramparts.
No. Sorry, I'm asking who you think the protagonist is for Polar Opposites.
Oh, the gal and the fucking silent dude.
Okay. For me, it's the gal, right? Like, so I'm just kind of comparing the two female characters together.
Okay.
That's where, pardon the pun, they're polar opposites. Like, there's one that is extremely open and one that, quite literally, the ending of the first episode is a wall of ice forming around her, right? Like, you couldn't be more opposite than those two. Now, yeah, I do agree with you that if you take it as a pairing, then sure, it's the same characters. But I think the POV that the story is being told from are the two girls. And so that's where, to me, it kind of feels like you get entirely different narratives of what is a fairly identical story. But Matt, I want you to talk about this one since you picked it. What are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, this is honestly, I think, a very, for the most part, normal student life show. Like, I don't see this doing anything particularly different. And in fact, I would not be surprised if about like 3 or 4 episodes in, this is basically just a less wild version of Polar Opposites. Because like I'll be honest, I expect the ice wall that this main character has to basically break down in like 3 episodes and then come up every so often as a plot point, and then it's just school life after that. But I don't know if you maybe feel the same way about that or not, Rakush.
Okay, so originally I had this series as a low probation, and one of the things I have done this season is anything that started a little bit earlier, I've just watched like an episode more or 2 episodes more. I got to the 2nd episode for this one, and I don't know, like there's a certain intensity with this story that to me just doesn't convert well for my personal taste and sensibilities.
I see.
Where I think there's like it keeps up a certain intensity because I think they might be building up towards the moment where the walls kind of finally break, metaphorically. Or I don't know if metaphorically is what I'm going for. Figuratively. I don't even know if that's what I'm going for. I'll stop talking about metaphors and figuratives, but it's like a level of storytelling that I think the author was maybe trying to challenge themselves. I haven't really read up on the origins of this manga as much, but like it's a very natural comparison to Polar Opposites, and like to me it almost kind of feels like the author really wanted to go for something very different than that other series, and that's fine. I don't think there's anything fundamentally flawed with this one. So like I think it's okay, and I think that if you're able to maybe finish this series from a sort of, I would call it an experiment, right? Like how do you react to the same story with a different protagonist? I think there's something kind of cool about that, but I think ultimately for me it just sort of feels like a pass for this season. With the caveat that if this were in a weaker season, I might have stuck around with this a little bit longer.
I see. For me, this is kind of the same way that, what do you call it? Daemons was working, where I had this initially basically in like low probation, and it's up to like middle probation because of pedigree. And also, this is on Netflix. Which like this is one of the few anime that I watch legally, and Jaren, they have I watched this in the Filipino dub, and I don't know if that's like maybe tainting the experience or not, but oh man, I'm having
Do you recommend that? Do you recommend?
I am having a good time watching it.
I've never considered watching just a Filipino dub in general. I might have to.
This brings me back to my like youth, where we couldn't get like here we wouldn't have just like anime streaming. And Jared, I don't know if like you remember if you know this place in general, but there was someone in our high school whose family ran like a Filipino video store. And they had Filipino dubbed anime, and that's where I watched like a whole bunch of like old anime series.
This is like 3 points in the recommendation scale right now, Matt. This is like interesting. I've never considered watching an anime in either other than an English or a Japanese dub, so I'm curious now.
I think you might enjoy even just like outside of like the dub and like in different languages. I think the story is interesting.
Yeah, the story is. Yeah.
Sure. Out of curiosity, did you end up watching Polar Opposites at all, or like did you give it an episode?
No,
or two?
I watched a few episodes, but then Gacha game too strong. Matt knows what I'm talking about.
Fair enough. But that show had a lot of charm to it as well. I feel like there was a certain, and I think part of that has to do with just like the anime production really adding a lot of that charm in as well. I just kind of feel a little bit of that is potentially lacking from Ramparts of Ice. But again, I do think there's some interesting stories to be told here. And yeah, if you find like a way to watch this with like, a different dub that might be more interesting, give it a shot. But Matt, this sounds like this one is a probation for you as well still, right? Like based on everything you said?
Like mid probation for me. Yeah.
Mid probation. That's fair. So Matt, moving on to the next one. You guys might have heard about this series before. It's Liar Game, which is finally receiving an anime adaptation.
Yeah, dude, I was so genuinely surprised to see in the year of our Lord 2026 that Liar Game is getting an anime.
Which, okay, it's a little confusing, but Matt, maybe you know a little bit more about this, because for me, I know about the name and sort of like this world in passing only. Like, I don't really know a ton about it. Do you know why it's taken this long for this one to get an anime?
I literally have no idea why it's taken this long. I think maybe because like this was around the time where like, stuff like Akagi and all those kind of like gambler anime or like not anime, manga were like really getting popular. So I expected this to like, have an anime like 10 or so years ago. But like I guess like compared to the other ones, this one isn't as wacky. It does, for the most part, in terms of like, for the most part, it stays grounded, which I'm putting an asterisk on grounded because this is an anime. But yeah, like I don't know. I honestly think it's coming out now because of stuff like Squid Game.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. But even then, it almost feels like this might have been better off, like, even releasing in 2023 or 2024.
I think also it might be influenced by the fact that I'm pretty sure, like, this did have other adaptations.
Yeah. It's had a lot of live action and stuff like that, which is where I know it from, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the drama's from, like, 2007. So this has been around for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. By no stretch of the imagination is this like a new franchise or anything like that. But hey, Liar Game. It's going to be 24 episodes, and the summary is Naokun Sakiri, who's the lead girl, receives a strange letter in a suitcase containing 100 million yen, which I don't know what that translates to in Canadian dollars.
Just
I think
like
that's
move the decimal place, move the decimal place two things over, basically.
So yeah, like $1 million basically. She learns that she has been selected to participate in the Liar Game. That's the name of this anime. Mm-hmm. In this high-stakes psychological battle, lies, deception, and betrayal reign supreme. Naive and honest now turns to Shinichi Akiyama, a brilliant former con artist recently released to survive the twisted game. In a game built on lies, can honesty prevail? Mm-hmm. This one's also created by Madhouse, so it's got some good pedigree to it as well. Like, I think, like, this could be an interesting series if you haven't watched it in any other format before, you haven't read this before. I mean, this could still be interesting. I'll be honest, I watched the first episode, and this lead girl now is very insufferable. Like, she's... You mentioned this show is quote-unquote grounded. It almost feels like it's extremely grounded. You know, it's like the characters are annoyingly one-dimensional, and it's like one-dimensional to by intent, right? Like, it's not like the author doesn't intend for it.
These are early 2000s manga characters. is I think the way to put it.
I hear you, and that's fair, but I just kind of feel like the exaggerated sort of like delivery of the dialogue and the things that are happening in this first episode just were really grating for me. Again, is it a bad series? Probably not. But if you ask me if I like it, the answer is very wholeheartedly no, because of this main character just being so insufferable. And I had to ask a friend of mine, I'm like, does she stay the same? And if the answer was yes, I was going to drop it. The answer was yes.
Yeah, so, she does mostly stay the same throughout the series.
I can't do a series of like 24 episodes. And that's also why I mentioned 24 episodes. Can I go
is this 24? I actually didn't check that.
So the note I'm seeing is it's 2 cores back to back. So that to me is 24 or 26 episodes, one of those two. And can I see myself dealing with this character for essentially 6 straight months? I feel like the answer is no. I cannot, in good conscience, recommend this one myself, but I'm sure if you're interested in like the original series, there might be something of value to check out here. Like, to me, this seems a little bit similar to how like the Fable franchise had an anime come out a couple of years back. A semi-decent one. It's on Disney Plus. Season 2 just got announced recently.
Sorry, like, you say Fable, like the video game franchise?
Not the video game franchise. There is a manga called The Fable, which is about an assassin.
Yes, that guy.
Yes. Fantastic. And the movies, the live-action movies, are doubly fantastic. They're like some of my favorite Japanese movies from the last decade. So, high expectations on that one led to me kind of saying the anime is a pass for me, right? But I don't know if that's going to be the same situation here with anyone familiar with the live action. Maybe it is, maybe they're not. I think this is a series where people might just need to figure out what the best format to consume the story is for them.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
I said earlier that I only watched like one episode of a bunch of like basically all the anime, but like that was a lie. I just remember that there are 2 that I watched like more than one episode, and this was one of them because this is a story that I know.
Okay.
So I checked the second episode, and I was, obviously I'm gonna be like spoiling something here, but I was shocked that they didn't end the arc in the second episode.
Really?
Yes, I think this is moving glacially if that is going to be the case for the rest of the series, and that does kind of worry me for this adaptation.
That is a concern. And just also for everybody's reference, the original run of the manga was 2005 to 2015, 19 volumes.
Mm-hmm.
So like they have plenty of stuff to go off of here, right? So it's not like they need to slow down like a One Piece situation or anything like that. Like they have a lot that they could just go through with proper pacing. Nothing about the story in the first episode to me suggests that it needed to be more than just like an episode and a half. So I'm a little bit surprised by what you're saying.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
Quality wise, like it seems okay.
Yeah,
like, there's really nothing that needs to happen with this one, right? Where it's like it needs to be overwhelmingly like expressive or anything like that. It's just a standard anime.
Yeah. Like it makes sense that this is one of those things that did get made into live action shows, because like you don't need the anime medium for this one, I think.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, right? Like, to be honest, like 3 of the 4 that we've talked about so far, you could have done with like a live action as well. Like, I think GalOta, the Ramparts of Ice and Liar Game, I think you could do all 3 of those.
Ramparts of Ice, I agree with. I think GalOta maybe needs the anime flourish to it.
You think so? Oh, I guess it needs that anime slop effect.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But that's Liar Game. Honestly, not much more to say for that from my end.
Yeah, I had that in like
it's a
low
pass.
3, and then moved to the manga.
So ended up being essentially a pass because you watched like the story.
Yeah, this is like technically a pass for me because like this was I'm gonna just check it out.
Yeah, if you haven't really consumed the story in any other format, maybe like you're right. Probation might be where it sticks. Jaren, anything about this of interest to you? Do you know what Liar Game is?
Again, I've heard of it in passing, especially when, speaking back to the glorious previous 2019, when I was on that Kakagurui kick and looking for recommendations, Liar Game always came up. But Yumiko too strong, man. Yumiko too strong. And I thought, no, not for me. Not for me.
Man, Sayori Hayami not in that many animes this season. Not in that many animes I want to watch this season.
Fair enough. Matt, what do you want to talk about next?
Rakush, while we're talking about things that we should pass on,
I think I know.
I want to talk about Petals of Reincarnation.
There it is. Let's shit on this one. Let's do it.
Oh man, Rakush, I don't know if you want to read the blurb of Petals of Reincarnation.
Yeah, I guess, just to be fair, let me read this out here. From Live Chart. Growing up constantly compared to his genius older brother, Toya Senji has a deep inferiority complex over his perceived lack of talent. For Toya, his academic achievement is his final stronghold. But, despite consistently ranking in the top 100 in the national mock exams, he remains dissatisfied. One day, Toya witnesses his classmate, Haito Luo Buffet, what a fucking name, engage in battle with a serial killer. Afterwards, he finds out about the supernatural stem of reincarnation and that Haito is what's called a returner. In disbelief, Toya learns that with the power of the stem of reincarnation, you can return from self-inflicted death and thereby gain the talent of a past life. Let's go into this. What's up? What do you think about this one, Matt?
First off, this is like junk food. Like, if you're here, like the main character, first off, main character, piece of shit. I love that shit. This guy is awful. Secondly, the animation for an action series is like, it's like honestly, like it's not doing anything crazy, but I wouldn't say it's like necessarily bad. But it is pulling me in a little bit because of like the suckerness of it for me, because I really like seeing things where you take a existing thing and you bring it into, you know, your thing. Like they're remixing the past and they're bringing it into their show. And that is the thing that I've always been a sucker for. Like that's why I really like checking out new Fate series, because I'm really interested in who they're bringing into the show. And that is similarly why I'll be honest, I initially had this in low probation, but I moved it down into a pass because of something that happened last night when we were talking about this, which is they bring in like people from the past and they use them as superpowers, right? Like I'm gonna spoil this because like basically it's like, oh, the main character is
hold up. Before you do this, I think we need to send Jaren this photo. Give me 1 second here.
But
I just want to send it to him without any context or anything like that. And give me 1 second. Jared, let us know if you've seen it.
Rakush, when you read that description, I thought, wow, this sounds awful. And then you sent me this picture and I'm like,
Can you read out those 4 words for us,
I'm not going to read
please?
out those 4 words for you.
Okay, I'll say them later. Which is basically that, like, okay, when I was looking at this show, you know, there were some voices in here that sounded very familiar to me. So I wanted to go, like, see who it was. And when I checked out on, like, my anime list, kind of, like, just to see who the voices were, I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, this person. And then there was, like, somebody on the credits. And honestly, it really pushed me to want to see this character not in game, in show. Because, like I was saying earlier, this is basically about, hey, like, we're taking powers from people in the past. The main character like channels like the powers of course it's a Japanese show. Their power is coming from like Goemon, right? So he like steals shit, and I think the other person is like what's it like the famous samurai dude, Musashi or something like that. But that's beside the point. One of these people is credited as Hitler, A, and oh man, that somehow revitalized my interest in the show, because I wanted to see how they were going to put Hitler into this anime. Rakush, what were you going to say?
I think we need to. I think we need to navigate this carefully here.
I don't think so. No, Rakush, we don't need to.
No, I'm trying to save your ass here.
No, Rakush, it's fine. Rakush,
let me be a friend for you here. Let me be a friend.
Okay.
It's not just that Hitler is in the credits here. It is that it is straight up just a lowly character.
See, I didn't know that. I wanted to see how they were going to bring Hitler into this, like how they were going to manifest like Hitler in this, because like that is just like a weird thing to see in an anime. And when you kind of like sent me, I guess like a screenshot of, I'm guessing a Google search, which basically just shows that, oh hey, like Hitler as a lolly ? For like the show, it kind of pulled a lot of wind out of my sails in terms of like seeing what that reveal was gonna be. And I'm like a lot less interested in like kind of like pursuing this show now.
To be honest, like that's one part of this, which let's put a pin in that one, right? Because I do kind of want to talk about that in a second as well. The show's just boring. Like if you ask me, like I watched one episode of this. And for those who haven't picked up already, it's a pass for me. I don't remember anything from this first episode, except for that the way that they activate their powers is straight up just how the Persona characters do it.
It's Persona. You so instead of shooting yourself in the head, you cut yourself in the neck.
Yeah, so there's like a really weird thing happening there as well, where I'm like, nothing about this seems original. And then it gets to also this point where, like, yeah, without any context, you just see this fucker's name pop up, right? And you're like, what the fuck? Like, what is this, right? And yeah, like, there is a certain curiosity behind that shit as well. But I don't know, like, there's no part of me that wants to watch something that is... I don't even know how the character is used, but yeah, like, unless it's, like, a piece of shit that's, like, joked upon and, like, you know, made fun of or something, and even then, it's like... it has to be done in a very specific way. Like, to me, this just straight up feels offensive.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, like, I just don't personally think that like, you know, you can add a character like that into just any show left, right, and center. Like, I think
I think in this show it makes sense.
But how? Okay, maybe it's spoilers, but like, how is this character used?
I mean, I don't know how this character is used. I didn't watch it. I just think
so
within
even if it makes sense,
within the confines of the show, where they are bringing in like historical people, because like there are other like characters on this page that are, you know, like famous names, and if you're like telling me that like, hey, like I do want to see how they're going to use everybody. Like, basically everybody in the show. It's just like, it was a surprise to see, like, Hitler on this list.
Yeah, but, like, I think... Okay, I'm going to read out some of the other characters that are part of this show before we, you know, really kind of, like, talk about this. And, look, like, I think ultimately, all three of us, I think it's safe to say, we all acknowledge and understand there's a certain historical context with Hitler that does not exist with all these other characters. I think that's a starting point here.
Yeah.
The other characters, Isaac Newton, Albert Einstein, Florence Nightingale. Fucking Florence Nightingale, dude. Like, and then all of a sudden you go from those to, like, a Hitler. And it's kind of like, okay,
I think it's, like, interesting. Like,
I don't think there's anything.
The amount of, like, characters that they're bringing is curious to me. Like, maybe interesting isn't the right word, but, like, I'm curious to see how they're going to use all these characters.
I don't see anything that could make a character like this interesting in anything that is semi-sympathetic light. Like, that to me is my biggest concern with something like this.
I don't think this is trying to be sympathetic.
Anytime you put Hitler as a cute girl, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too overreactive about this one. But maybe we leave this at that. It's a pass for both of us. Yeah. We move on to the next one. Matt, I think we can talk about Mao at this point. And this one... We've been talking about, like, you know, shows coming out from authors with amazing sort of, like, you know, lists or portfolios of series.
Oh, is this from someone?
Yes. Mao is actually from Rumiko Takahashi. And for those who don't know who Rumiko Takahashi is, probably the single mangaka with the best portfolio of series ever. Urusei Yatsura, Ranma Half, Inuyasha. And, yeah.
Okay.
Like, just those three
My
alone.
first note for Mao is, this reminds me of Inuyasha.
Yeah, there's a reason for that. But, yeah, like, just, listen, those three series alone, if a single author had written a single series, so, like, if there are three different authors that had written that, those three authors would have been living, I would say, more comfortably for, like, the rest of their lives after those series had ended. The fact that one author has written all three of those is kind of wild. Now, whether Mao would be a part of that as sort of like, you know, a classic or not, it's still ongoing from what I can tell. So it's more of like a, you know, ongoing series. TBD on like the classic status of this one. But yeah, Mao is in another 24 episode series, 2 cores back to back. Reading out the synopsis here. Mao is a young mystic who lives in the Taisho period of early 1900s Japan, and is a mysterious onmyoji who, after suffering a life-altering curse, has continued to live for 900 long years. His world becomes even stranger when he meets Nanuka Kiba, a junior high schooler who seems to travel from the future. In spite of her tender years, Nanuka has lived a strange life herself, marked by her traumatic experience as a young child losing both her parents to a grisly accident. But when Nanuka decides to return to that fateful shopping arcade, she's transported to another time and place. I'm not going to read out the rest because it's basically more or less the same. This is from Sunrise Studios, and yeah, this is an anime for the latest Rumiko Takahashi series. I think it is interesting. I think there is a lot of similarities between Inuyasha, like, you know, a little bit of a theme, right?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Daemons. We're talking about the same thing here. Matt, how many episodes of this did you watch?
I watched only the first episode.
Okay. So there is stuff in this blurb that is revealed, that's written in this blurb that is revealed in later episodes, right? So like episode 2 and 3, I think, is where you find out some of like the Taisho period stuff. And yeah, this honestly has a real sort of like throwback vibe to it. Like it is extremely Inuyasha, like, you know, the semi-white-haired main character, the schoolgirl that, you know, travels to like a different world, not an isekai, Just want to clarify, not an isekai. But yeah, just like there's a lot of similarities there. And you kind of started this off by saying that, yeah, like this reminded you a lot of Inuyasha. But what are your general thoughts on this one?
Honestly, the thoughts of it reminding me of Inuyasha kind of dragged it down for me. Because I was never really a fan of Inuyasha, and kind of watching this and seeing like how similar, like how much it was giving a vibe of that, even like I guess like not knowing was I don't know, like I just like was generally disinterested in this show. I think like the animation and stuff is all like very good. I honestly I weirdly really like the look of the cup of weird juice or weird shake that this girl gets at the start of every morning.
Yeah.
But I yeah, like I do think the anime is like very smooth. I think it's also the first episode doesn't do I think like a particularly good job of explaining anything, which also I guess like that is more so like an episode 2 thing. Like, you know, they are doing like, hey, let me show you this cool magic blood that we got that like hurts people. And
yeah.
I don't know, like I generally like I think the quality is good, but the flavor isn't for me. Like it I think it is good, but it is not for me. Basically, is where I landed on this.
I think that's fair, and I think I agree with you about the first episode being a little bit of a hit or miss one. Does it attempt to build a world? A little bit. It maybe doesn't reveal everything.
Yeah.
It sets up a lot of questions. I think that's like one way of looking at it. Does it do a good job setting up the main characters? I would say yes. I think that seems to be a little bit of a theme with a lot of series this season, where like the first episode really just is about the characters and they're like leaving the world building to like that second episode, that third episode, and so on and so forth. I think I'm of two minds with this one, and I don't know why I'm of two minds. This is a bit of a confusing one for me, where I think this is something I would like to continue watching, just more so out of curiosity on how this differs from an Inuyasha.
Mm-hmm.
But then, at the same time, I also remember Inuyasha is like, I respect that series a lot. It wasn't something that I connected with, right? Like growing up, so like it wasn't one of those series. And so, why do I want to see how similar this is to Inuyasha? I don't know. And that's why for me, like, it does a lot of cool things. I think the monsters that they're setting up as well, some of the villains that they might be setting up seem very interesting in a way that I think is a bit of a throwback to when like a series like this had cooler villains, if I'm being more honest. And so like, I am excited for this. I kind of want to see it a little bit more. At the same time, I'm not quite certain what the actual story's hook is so far for me personally. Like, it almost feels like I'm watching this because of external factors. And that's why for me it's a probation series. Like, I'm probably going to give it more than 3 episodes, but it might be one where like after 6 episodes I might just decide, not for me, kind of deal.
Yeah, low probation for me.
Low probation for you as well. Jaren, what's your experience with like Rumiko Takahashi stuff? I know that Mao is a relatively new one, but like, what are your thoughts on like an Inuyasha or, you know, Yatsura or Ranma?
One of those, you know, their work is, or at least kind of, you guys know me, shonen as like in general is a genre that I kind of respect, and it's a lot of the titles you mentioned are something I had in the perimeter, information I've gathered through osmosis or just like general talks, but I've never actually sat down and sunk my teeth into any of them, where, you know, I'm in that camp of can respect it, but wouldn't be able to engage in anything if someone told me they were a fan.
No, that's fair, I think. I maybe might take this opportunity to just encourage folks to watch the Urusei Yatsura reboot that they did. Like, I think it was 5 years ago at this point. There's 2 seasons of it. They just handled it very well for modern sensibilities. And I say modern sensibilities because these series are from like the late 70s, early 80s. Or I think they're all from the early 80s. Mao is more recent. And a series like Urusei Yatsura was definitely written for its time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of things that were more socially acceptable, even in Japan in the 80s, that in this day and age wouldn't be acceptable. And so they kind of had to like tweak some of those things, work around some of those things. And I think they did a really good job with it. But in general, I also just kind of love the art direction for that series as well. Like, they did a great job of capturing sort of like that retro effect, but modernizing it in a way that, like, I really do feel like the success of that series, or at least sort of like, I don't know if it's commercial success, but at least like the critical success of that series is the reason we're seeing like a Ranma half remake 2 seasons in. We're seeing a series for Mao at this point with, I guess, enough material to, you know, put out at least 1 season for it and stuff. So yeah, I highly recommend it. That is Urusei Yatsura. I think Mao is a solid probation one as well. It's a bit of an interesting one, like Inuyasha, where if you say it's shonen, you're technically correct, but it is written from the perspective of a female character and has a lot more shoujo tendencies to it. So it's a little bit of like that unique sort of series that, like, you know, just kind of hovers in the middle of those two genres somewhere. And that's kind of where Mao seems like it's going to fit a little bit as well. So yeah, it should be interesting. But I think we can move on to the next one, Matt.
I think next might as well move into Ganbare Nakamura Kun.
Ooh, yes. Okay. So, Matt, how many episodes of this one have you watched before I go into sort of like what the series is?
I watched 1 episode and I was pushed several clips on YouTube.
Okay. I think, yeah, Jaren, you were also talking of, I don't know if it was like before the episode or what, but like you were talking about getting a lot of anime clips on TikTok lately. I feel like this series is something you're going to get a lot of clips for it as well. So, Ganbare Nakamura Kun, I think for me, is personally the most surprising of the season, and I'll explain why in a second as well. So this is actually a BL anime, but beyond that, it's one that is heavily inspired by the works of the author we just talked about, Rumiko Takahashi, whose art style is very much influenced like how Ganbare Nakamura Kun looks in, like, you know, is animated and stuff as well, right? So I think like there's a lot of the similar tropes as well of those retro animes and everything that is extremely present in this series. So reading out this blurb right quick. Nakamura is a shy boy who falls in love at first sight with one of his classmates, his dreamy high school classmate Hirose. But there's a problem. They haven't met yet. And Nakamura is a total klutz who might bungle things before they even begin. 3 sentences. Pretty standard setup for one of these animes, right? Like, there's nothing complex to it. There is nothing that is out of the ordinary for it. But it's just so well executed.
Yeah.
And the characters... Like, I wrote down like this one note for Nakamura Kun, and Matt, I don't know if you get the same sense from Rumiko Takahashi works, but like the one thing that really stands out for me a lot from those kind of works is that there's an equal part absurdity and a sincerity to the characters in that, like, they're in these heightened absurd situations, but ultimately, like, there is a sincerity to all of these things, right? Like, beyond the heightened sort of like exaggerated reactions to like the scenarios and the situations that are set up in the episodes. And I think a lot of that is captured here as well. Now, I think you watched 1 episode and you watched the clips. I don't know if the clips are from like the later 2 to 3 episodes or whatever.
I mean, they weren't in the first episodes that they had to have.
Okay. So you might have already seen this, but like it is a lot more rooted in reality. And what I mean by that is like there's no aliens, there's no flying characters, there's no like, you know, talking spirits.
That is, okay. That is like the wildest way to say it's rooted in reality.
I mean, yeah, like
to say that there's no aliens or anything. This is anime reality asterisk, basically.
Sure, yeah, but like compared to Rumiko Takahashi works, right?
Okay,
because like if you compare it to like a Urusei Yatsura or Ranma, you're thinking, oh, there's like spirits or there's some supernatural, there's some like aliens. It's got none of that. It's just so far just humans.
It's standard anime school life, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just done really well, man. Like the whole
it plays out
production
really
of it.
funnily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, I don't know if you've had a chance to like watch the endings for this one, but and Jaren, this is where I would highly recommend this show to you as well. Is it's got a different song as an ending for each episode.
best.
Oh, it's
The
different.
best.
Is the art the same?
No, the art's also different. Although,
okay.
like,
is it the same vibe? Because like it does. Okay, for the ending of episode 1, it is basically Lo-Fi Boy, but like from a different angle.
So it's in the same. Like, it's typically just like him in his room, kind of vibing to the music, honestly, which is again fucking fantastic, right? But I want to tell you guys the moment that specifically hooked me on this series. I was already like pretty high on this one, but then there's almost like this punchline at the end of episode 2 where it, like something happens and then a song starts and it leads into the the closing credits. And I know that song because the song is Won't Be Long from the Bubblegum Brothers. And it is this kind of like old, like, classic, like sounding song that's like a little bit like hip hop, a little bit poppy. So like it's a little bit of that city pop vibe to it, which all the episodes so far, the songs have that city pop vibe to it. But the familiarity with the song and seeing how they use that song to lead into the end credits. And like, just kind of seeing Nakamura like looking mild spoiler, looking a little bit dejected, like sitting in the bed and everything as well. Like it was just such a cool moment for me of like being there, like, hey, I know this track and it's like so well used here and stuff. And I think like that really hooked me as far as like, just like the energy and the vibe of the series and stuff as well. And it's so well done. And I highly recommend this series. Give it a watch. There is no fan service so far. It is all just like, really sort of like, I don't think there's fan
Rakush,
service.
I think you're forgetting. Okay, maybe I don't know how far you watch it, but the particular clip was served to me of a particularly good piece of fan service where a girl was just basically drawing what do you call it, fantasy scenes in her own little notebook.
Oh, the Fujoshi girl. Yeah, that's not fan service to me. That's just like a plot point.
Rakush, that's it's moving. That one's for the fans of BL. God, it makes so much sense that they added a Fujoshi to this. That like I didn't. She wasn't in the first episode, but like so far she's been my favorite character that I've been getting in clips.
She's really good. That second episode, or is it the second or third episode she's in? But she's really good.
Oh man.
And they like this is the thing as well, right? Like a series like this, a series like Yatsura and Ranma, like it's not the main characters that sell you on these. There's a reason that every few episodes you're introduced to a new absurd character. It's because, to me, Rumiko Takahashi's strength has been the side characters. It is like, it's at least in like these kind of shows, like the comedy manga that she's written. And so much of Nakamura Kun is following that same effect as well. That like, yeah, like it is amazing and I highly recommend it. And one thing I do want to make sure I do is I actually just want to like shout out the original mangaka of this series as well, because we've been talking a lot about Rumiko Takahashi but not about just goes by Syundey, Syundey. I believe that is the author and the artist on this one as well. So did want to give a shout out there as well. Like, it's not just that we want to talk about Rumiko Takahashi getting her flowers. Like, it's everyone that's involved in Nakamura Kun as well. Yeah, to me, it's like the most pleasant surprise of the season. Like, I wasn't expecting something like this to really just kind of like hook me, but everything about the art direction, the music choice, it's amazing. Like, every episode is closed, and I've been sitting there listening to this song. There's been 2 songs already in 4 episodes where I've like Shazammed it immediately and added it to my liked song playlist.
Man.
Like, it's
I wish I liked music. You got
You don't like music?
I don't like listen to music. Like it's just
Interesting.
Yeah, one of those fucking freaks.
I guess it never really came up that like I don't know, but no, I think you can, even if you don't like music, you can respect.
Yeah.
A
I
song
can respect the
used.
song. I can respect the song. You know. Yeah.
My only complaint about this series is it seems like it's going to be 13 episodes long, and that's it. Which, I mean, says quite a bit about, like, it's only 4 episodes in, and I'm already kind of regretting that this might not go beyond 13. But hey, let's see. Maybe like 13 is the sweet spot for it. But for me, I am here for the entire season. I've talked a lot about this one, but Matt, what are your thoughts on this one?
I mean, I like feel genuinely the same way that you do about a lot of this. I want to hold an octopus after the first episode, which is something I guess I could never considered. I was like thinking if I could like buy a live octopus from the Chinese supermarkets nearby, but I don't
crazy.
think that like I could do that. But yeah, I want to hold an octopus is basically what I got out of this series. It is a very fun series, and I am very like this is a like mid to high 3-episode probation for me. It is going to depend very much on how much of the the pervert Fujoshi shows up in this series for me, because she was carrying it for me.
Yeah, I think that's kind of why I was hoping it would be a little bit more than 13 episodes, is because if you have all these side characters getting introduced, and if you take a look at the key visual, like there's a few characters that are like have already been introduced, some that haven't. So like, yeah, I'm kind of curious, like how they're gonna kind of tackle that, because I would love to see more of all of these characters. Even if you're looking at the key visual, the blue-haired girl, really cool introduction in episode 4 for her. That was a really funny situation. But Jaren, anything about this interest you? Like, is this have you been convinced to check this one out?
You just have to say BL, and it's already on my radar. So I'm hoping TikTok will start serving me this at the very least. But if not, sounds like an easy watch, and that I'll have friends to talk about to see what their specific BL need, if there are specific BL needs or not.
It's interesting because like, if like I just go and tell someone, hey, I'm watching a BL show, they're like, oh my god, which one? It's not even like the BL that's kind of like hooking me in this one, right? Like it's a plot point for sure, but I think it is everything else around it that's really awesome as well.
Sounds good.
If there's more BL that follow this art direction, let me know, because I think that's kind of what's selling me on this. So I will absolutely read those or watch those as well. But yeah, highly recommend this one. Let's keep it moving. I think we're making decent progress here, but still got quite a few to go through. Quite a few big ones to go through. Matt, I wanted to talk about Kirio Fan Club next. And part of that is because thematically it's very identical to Ganbare Nakamura Kun. Presentation's a little bit different, but
okay.
Kirio Fan Club, 12-episode series, maybe a series. 2 characters, Aimi and Nami, don't have much in common except for one glaring exception, which is Kirio, the boy they both have a crush on. The battle to prove who loves him more has begun, leading to such deep philosophical questions as, would you still love him if he had farts that broke the sound barrier? And the classic, would you still love him if he was a worm? But as the girls' friendship deepens, they find themselves wondering if their shot at love is as important as their hilarious and heartwarming friendship. Yeah, what's up?
Okay, I don't know how many episodes of this did you watch?
I am up to date on this one, actually.
Okay, Rakush, is this Secret Yuri?
Okay, so the first note I wrote down here was also surprise Yuri, like question mark.
When I got to the end of the first episode, I was like, is this Yuri?
Yeah. Also, I don't have a visual reference here, but I'm pretty sure Jaren just paid more attention here as well. There's hints, I think, right? Like, I like at the end of episode 1. I think if we just stick to the first episode for this purpose, it sure seems like there's a secret that someone's hiding.
Yes.
It does seem like with future episodes, there might be multiple secrets that multiple people are hiding. I think like it's like a lot of like mysterious things happening with sort of like, who has feelings for who's lying, and like, things of that nature. I don't know. To me, this seems like it might be a love triangle more than just like 2 girls that like the same dude. But TBD, I guess. Like, there's really not enough information on this in the anime so far. But yes, I also literally wrote down the same 2 words to start off my notes on this.
Okay.
I think it's like a pleasant watch as far as just sort of like, your standard school comedy. This one really reminds me a lot of See You Again at the Food Court. I think like
I can see that
the dynamic between the two feels very identical. So yeah.
Yes, in the second half, they okay. I did not like this for like the first half of this episode because I didn't like the characters at the start of this episode. And then when they started talking about farts, I was like, "Oh, I'm in. We're back, boys." And
I think
and
I think the first episode was like a really well done bait and switch as well, because like
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 I don't know,
oh
like
shit,
just farts as a goof, and then later on, one of the goofs being like asking, "Hey, did you make it home?" And it's just, "Oh, I made it home," and then no, stars are made it home. I was like, "Oh, okay, this is like exactly the type of like dumb humor that I like."
It's just like, you know, some characters doing dumb shit that's just like, you know, really funny so far. Like, it's, again, not a series of consequence, ultimately, like, whatever the end game they work towards. And that's also kind of the cool thing. It could be a very serious end game. It could be played off as a joke. And I would perfectly buy either of those payoffs to this mystery so far. So, like, I am sold on this one. Again, it's only 12 episodes. I've watched 3 of the episodes. So, like, it's a pretty easy thing to commit to. So, yeah, for me, I'm very much sold on this. For me, it's a must-watch and a recommend. But what about you?
It, like, kind of like going back to what you were saying, it being, like, it can end serious or it can end funny, is actually why, for me, it is a 3-episode probation. Because I can see it going either way. And if it goes serious, I'm a lot less interested in this as a show than if it goes funny. But that's like me as a person.
No, that's totally fair. I just don't know if we'll have the answer to that until like the final 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And I think like, as like, you know, someone that has watched 3 episodes of this one, it still doesn't give you a good idea of which direction it's going in with that. And so I think it's like, just be there for the journey, whatever the destination may be, is where I'm at with this one. I just really enjoy this one, man. And Jaren, I said a couple of buzzwords there. Like, does this one sound interesting to you as well?
It's definitely something I might check out. But again, I think I'm in the same boat as Matt, where it really depends where it might be something that I'll have to commit just to see where it goes. But I think you guys know me. I like my romance with like a hint of more slice of life, more easygoing, where if it does get a bit more serious, might sour me on the experience. But depending on how heavy that Y word gets developed, might be something I need to keep bookmarked.
So far, it's very non-committal, by the way. Just like, it doesn't get built on, and I'm kind of mildly spoiling that because I think it's like fair to set up like proper expectations for what this series will be. But
all right, we'll see if this makes my coward list by end of the season.
Fair enough. That is Kirio Fan Club. It is a must-watch for me, a probation for Matt, and a developing situation for Jaren. Let's call it.
Yep.
I think we can move on to the next one, Matt.
Okay. Rakush, I think that next I am going to just like very quickly touch on MarriageToxin, because a lot like Kirio Fan Club, this one was a roller coaster of I like this, I hate this, I like this, I hate this. Rakush, do you want to hit that blurb for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So MarriageToxin is actually a Shonen Jump series, from what I understand. For centuries, the deadly arts have been perfected by those known as the Masters. Among them, the poison masters of the 5 great families hold the most fearsome power and influence. Hikaru Gero, heir to the poison master's Gero family, has lived his entire life in the underworld, far removed from love or marriage. But when the Gero family head decrees that Hikaru's sister must bear an heir to preserve the bloodline, by force if necessary, Hikaru resolves to protect her at all costs. It is then that Hikaru encounters Mei Kinosaki, a brilliant marriage swindler who becomes the target of his latest job. Realizing that the only way of solving the family succession problem and protecting his sister is through marriage, Hikaru impulsively asks Mei for help in finding a bride.
Okay. Rakush, Jaren, poison is one of my favorite powers, or like power sets, I guess, quote unquote, across any medium of like of fiction.
Yes.
Okay.
I just like love it as a power. I love that, like, you know, poison users are always kind of just shitty, but I really like poison as a power. And you know what? Like I went into this because I'm like, okay, cool, like poison anime. I main character is like, okay, cool, killing rich people, killing rich assholes, always good. He meets like his like cool friend who like kicks it with bugs, and like they found a reason to put centipedes under his feet and make him do like a Garo slide across the screen. Like, like I'm so far like, oh, locked in. This anime is like fucking killing it. And then they get to the part where the male lead meets like the other lead, and it dropped so hard for me because I hate inject myself with poison and then I become like superhero. That is the type of poison I hate. I hate that as like a mechanic. Like a poison user should not inherently be strong like that. They should be conniving and like cunning and that type of thing, because that is just like, I don't know, the character I like. And when they kind of put together, hey, you're like, the guy's like talking to this girl, and then it's like, okay, you're gonna help me, like you are a marriage swindler, you are gonna help me find someone that I love so that I can like save my sister from having to like break up with her girlfriend, and so I can carry on the clan legacy or whatever. And I was like, fuck, this is just gonna be some bullshit where it's like, oh, we're gonna work together to find someone for this guy to love, but like these two main characters are gonna fall in love. And I was like, goddamn, I had such high hopes for this. And then the girl drops, actually, I'm a guy. And I was right back up again. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna fucking slap.
It's
what a roller coaster.
Yeah, the first episode, it's a lot of whiplash with this one.
And like, and oh man, and because it really, really feels like at that point in time, it really felt like, oh, this is gonna be a show about like this dude growing as a person and not being, kind of such a loner, and then it became basically those episodes of what's it called? Love is War, where Chica is trying to train the president into doing something that he's like just really shitty at.
The best.
Right.
And I was like, okay, cool. This is good too. And then it became an action show again, and he chased it down a fucking car, and I was like, fuck, I hate this shit so bad.
Why do you hate shonen?
Oh man, no, it's not that I hate shonen. I hate that like it's poison user using like I don't know, performance enhancing drugs, because I hate that as like a power set. And then this motherfucker uses poison to get a car in half. What the fuck is this shit doing? That's really a fucking good goof, and I really like that goof. But man, I hate that. Like, oh man, it's dragging me back and forth in terms of, oh, this is like really funny, but I hate what they're doing with poison. And the lead boba made my teeth really, really hurt. For context, a dude was basically drinking boba, but it turns out, he's like, I guess like quote unquote superpower is spitting them out of his mouth and hurting people, and then he crushes them with his teeth, and I was like, oh fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was my roller coaster of MarriageToxin. I have it in 3-episode probation because I don't know how I feel about this as a show.
Yeah, I mean, clearly tilted the shit out of you. So, like, it's making you feel strongly, if nothing else. I think this is like a probation series for me, and it's one where it's like I might hang around with it just to kind of see what like the series plays out like. But yeah, as far as like the general plot is concerned, I mean, cool gimmick and everything. Not really much that's appealing to me about this one.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think it does like too much, but
yeah. Look, I think it's perfectly okay for like a perfectly okay series to exist, right? And I think this is one that is perfectly okay. Not much more to say about that one. I think if like the kind of stuff that Matt talked about doesn't tilt you, maybe check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Also, the quality of the animation I think is all very, very good. I feel like that's important to say here.
Yes, yeah. It is really well done. There is some stuff in like the later episodes that I'm a little bit confused by.
Oh, okay.
The power sets in the world, I think. It's not really clearly defined to me whether it is like a supernatural skill set or if it is supposed to be based in, say, like physics or logic or anime logic.
I see. Yeah.
It's not quite clear to me just yet, but I think that's also something worth kind of paying attention to. But Matt, we're actually down to our last 3 anime here.
Yes.
I had my count wrong. We only have a dozen that we need to talk about. I mentioned 13 earlier. I want to talk about Nippon Sangoku before we talk about the last 2, because I feel like the last 2 are a little bit of a meaty segments that we're going to be doing. Nippon Sangoku is probably the most stylistic of the animes that's coming out this season. Or arguably at least.
It is definitely it definitely has a unique style to it.
Very, yeah. Okay. So the blurb for this one: a revolution sparked by nuclear war, natural disaster, and misrule leads to the collapse of Japanese society. The country splits into 3 nations vying for hegemony. How do you pronounce that word, actually?
I think hegemony is correct.
Hegemony. Let's go with hegemony. And the Sangoku era begins. Aoteru Misumi, a former agricultural officer, vows to reunify Japan. He rises through the ranks with only his knowledge and elegance. Witness the legend of the man, later hailed as a genius strategist. I think sticking with the theme of the first episode not revealing everything, this is another one of those instances. I think it tells you a little bit about the world in like this start of the episode synopsis, which seems to be part of the opening that they've done for the other episodes following it as well. And in addition to that, I would say it's mostly setting up the main character's motivations. Now, this one is a must-watch for me, and I will get to the positives in a second, but I do kind of want to start off by just saying, in the year 2026, it is still crazy to me that we are still using fridging as a plot point for character motivations, which is essentially what happens here. Main character's wife gets killed by a high-ranking military official, and so the rest of the series is him basically looking for revenge. And I think I understand revenge as a plot point. What I don't understand is if fridging is still like a good way of going about this. For those that aren't familiar with the term, it's something that came up in the early 2000s with DC Comics, where writers were essentially using female characters getting killed as a main plot point for the lead male character getting revenge, or just driving that character to a certain headspace that the writer wanted them to be in. And it originated from a character literally being found killed inside of a fridge, hence fridging. And that's early 2000s. It's been 25 years since then. So the fact that that is still happening as a trope, to me, still kind of feels like a little bit lazy. I think if, for example, they had made one tweak to this one, sure, the wife dies, but the whole village dies, let's say, right? To me, that's not fridging. To me, that's Sephiroth killing Cloud's entire family in the village. That, to me, is, okay, I understand the motivation there a little bit, sort of stuff, right? But, it is just that singular act. It's that singling out this character for the sake of another character's motivation that just still kind of seems annoying to me and lazy to me in this day and age.
Yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Now, I did say again, this is a must-watch, right? So, I think this is one of those things where I had to take that bad, acknowledge it, but I do also want to talk about the fact that, hey, this is a very stylistic series. This is an interestingly written series, let's say.
Yes.
It is not action heavy so far, right? I think
this series, I think, is going to really live or die by its writing, because my initial thought of like this series is that it feels like so far up its own ass that the writing for this better be really, really good for me to like keep going with it.
I agree with you. I think like even just the fact that the main character is supposed to be a strategist, not like a junior military person.
Yeah. Like it makes sense that they had to kill the female character because she was a much better character than the main character was. But You know, you gotta have a character that can grow instead of being like fucking cool from the rip.
Yeah.
But man,
And it's an interesting one where
Mhm.
I mentioned also like, you know, the theme of the first episode doesn't reveal everything to you. So I think in
I
this
thought they
one
did a good job though of like kind of building the world pretty well. Like I felt like of all the first episode watches of like kind of like weird worlds that like, I guess is like basically everything here that isn't a school life show that we talked about. I thought this one built its world the best within one episode.
I think it did a really good job building the characters and setting up the questions for the world. But I think as far as getting a first visual or first sense, episode 2 really kind of drives that home.
Okay.
So I think that combination is what to me sells me on this series as like once he gets into Osaka, once he meets these other characters that are going to be recurring characters, once you kind of see like, you know, what's happening outside of just the world of this main character, I think like episode 2 really kind of ties everything together as like, here's your character, here's the world, the motivation's in place, let's move on sort of thing. And I think like, yeah, in that sense, it's really cool. I'm very much like, you know, sold on this one from a stylistic standpoint, right? Like I think like even a boring show with a great style, I think will go a long way for me in this instance. I say that now, this might end up being like something I drop in 6 episodes, I don't know, but for me so far it seems like a recommendation.
Yeah, in my notes I had the art style is great. And then later on I went back and then I added in the opening to this because the art style for the show is not for me. I don't like the art style in this show. But I do think that it is like this is one that I can see like a lot of people liking anyway. It's just overall not for me. I am like very curious to see where this story goes. So it is actually like a high probation for me.
Yeah, like I want to see how much of this ends up being like a military drama, which are the 2 tags that are on live chart, funny enough.
Okay.
Like I really do want to see like, you know, how much of this is an action series, how much of this is a drama series. And I think like some of the things that they're setting up is that this is less going to be about win through violence and more about win through tact, right? And I think like
it
that's
seems like
really
a cunning
unique spin
character
on
to
something
me.
like this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like that's kind of what I'm waiting to see here. Jaren, I did link the live chart page for this one because I want to get your opinions on sort of like the character designs and the key visual that you see here. It's a low angle shot of essentially the 2 main characters that the show follows. But like, what's your first reaction to seeing characters look like that?
I think the live art, or at least the key art that you posted in the chat, and then just even looking it up on Google, like scrubbing through the trailer, it does have a distinct style that I'm kind of digging. But, you know, going back to the eyes of with Otagal, there's just something about the eyes that are also kind of off-putting to me, unsettling to me, where if you also told me this was a horror adjacent anime, I would totally believe you as well.
I think I agree with that. Yeah. Like there is something a little bit off center with everything about the art style for this one, but it's not as off-putting for me personally as GalOta was. So yeah, I'm kind of curious, I think is where I land with this one for the most part. But Matt, is this a probation or a pass for you? Sorry.
High probation.
High probation. Okay. All right. Down to our final 2 before we get into Don't Match Me. But Matt, which one of the 2 did you want to talk about here?
I want to talk about Hat Atelier.
Yeah.
Rakush.
Matt?
It is fucked up that the Pegasus's wings are their ears. What the fuck is that? When I saw that, I hated it. I'm like, oh, what the fuck is that? Why are they doing? There's a traditional way to draw Pegasus that you decided to bring this garbage into my eyes. Oh man.
You know what's funny? I don't even think I realized that until you just
I
mentioned
hate
this.
it. I
So I
hate
might
it
have to go and rewatch
so much.
it.
You know what that reminds me of? Have you guys ever seen that fucking like Vine of It's like this, like, I don't know, I want to say like 5 to 7-year-old girl, and she's like, oh, I'm cooking in the kitchen with my sister, and she like lifts a toddler by her head into the frame from the bottom. Oh man, and then just drops her. Oh god.
Oh
I
my
love
God.
that vibe.
Which Hat Atelier? It is, I would say, out of all of the series, this feels like the most likely to kind of break through as like a big series this season.
Yeah.
And it also has a lot of hype surrounding it, I would say. But let me read out the blurb right quick, and then we'll go into a little bit of the context and backstory. In a world where everyone takes wonders like magic spells and dragons for granted, Coco is a girl with a simple dream. She wants to be a witch. But everybody knows magicians are born, not made, and Coco was not born with a gift for magic. Resigned to her unmagical life, Coco is about to give up on her dream to become a witch, until the day she meets Kifri, a mysterious traveling magician. After secretly seeing Kifri perform magic in a way she's never seen before, Coco soon learns why everybody knows might not be the truth. What everybody knows might not be the truth, and discovers that her magical dream may not be as far away as it may seem. So, this is a bit of a late addition to this list, if I'm being honest, mainly because I initially wasn't going to watch this. To me, it just kind of, based on what I was reading about the description and stuff, seemed like pretty standard sword and sorcery fare that wasn't really sticking out. But then I think, like, I got pushed enough videos about this that really kind of sold me on, hey, maybe I should check this one out, because it seems like this is going to be something really cool.
The quality of like all the animation and stuff is all like very, very high for this show.
Yeah. And I think like the first episode's pacing, and I literally watched this yesterday, right? So like it's all a little bit fresh for me, but like the pacing of that first episode was very deliberate. Not a lot happens except for the last 5 minutes where everything happens. And I feel like that's really just directed quite well. The music is very muted until then. I would even say the animation is slightly muted until then, but you can still see the quality in it. Like, I don't mean that as like the quality is shit. I just mean like they knew the right moments to hit you with the super expressive and super explosive animations.
Sorry, Rakush, do you still have the listing for it open? Do you know how many episodes this show is?
Yeah, it seems like it's actually going to be a 13 episode series.
Okay, because like,
or season.
I felt like the first episode had a very movie quality and movie pacing to it. And I don't know.
Wholeheartedly agree with you.
And
I actually had that note written down as well, where it's like, there's so much about this that felt like the first 15 minutes of a movie, especially like specifically a Ghibli movie. And that's highest praise that you can give a series like this, right? But yeah, like, look, this series, just one of the videos that I was watching talks about how it has been in, I believe the anime itself got announced in like 2022, I believe.
Oh.
And then it was supposed to come out in 2025, got delayed further to 2026. And a big reason for that is because the production committee and the show essentially were kind of not able to figure out like how to animate this series and like how to figure out like, essentially the magic language and the flow and like, things of that nature. And I think that's really fascinating to hear, is that like, there was a lot of thought that went into how are we going to build this world out. And I think like that really speaks volumes to the level of care that the series also has to it as well. As far as the actual manga itself is concerned, I believe it's like an Eisner Award winning manga as well. It's got like a lot of accolades. And again, I'm finding all this out in like the last 24 hours. The series has like 7.5 million copies in circulation worldwide. So like, yeah, like it seems like the folks that like this series are going to have extremely high expectations of it. It might not meet all the expectations. Like I am looking at this article basically about, like a pre-release article, like, an interview with the showrunners talking about how, it might not be able to adapt everything from the manga due to time constraints. And ultimately, like, there might be some character changes and things of that nature as well. So if you are someone that's read the manga, you might want to approach this with the mindset that it's going to be quite different from the source material. It is really pretty though, man. Like I think
Yeah.
like that's
It's pretty-
probably
pretty.
what it. Yeah, like it's well thought out. It's really pretty. It's really well built out. I think ultimately, like if you even just take a look at some of the source material, which Jaren, I would highly recommend checking that out as well. You can see why it took so long for them to adapt like this series. I think also the main character really endearing. Like, you know, I think like some of the just characterizations and there's a certain innocence that needs to exist with the character is really well done. I think everything that they're doing with Kifri, like when Kifri finally uses magic in like the final 5 minutes, absolutely stunning. Like that whole 360 shot of them like in the air, oh, fantastic as well, right? So, really glad that I made this last second addition to the list because, it certainly seems like one of the breakthrough series of this year.
Yeah. I want to see that.
Is this like a must-watch or a probation for you, Matt?
This is a high probation for me because it very much for me depends on kind of like how it progresses. Because I could easily see this kind of flip-flopping as either good or bad for me. Like it's one of those like high potential, but like, are you gonna reach it type things?
I think that's fair. Yeah. So we've been through 11 so far. I don't think you've had a single must watch.
I do not have a must watch on my list this season, Rakush.
That's kind of like the interesting thing where like for me, if I'm looking at my list from the season, I think I ended up with 6 must watches. And like you have 0, right? So like there's a big contrast there. And we might as well jump into the last one because I think like that completes the list. It's one that we've mentioned in passing in recent episodes as well when we were talking about Kikuho and Showa Rakugo, the anime as well. But this is Akane Banashi.
Yes.
And Matt, with this one, I had actually told you, hey, just fair warning, I actually have looked up a bunch of stuff that is outside of just the anime itself to really just kind of explain everything about the series' existence and stuff. But I'm going to quickly read this out, and just quick spoiler on this one. It's a must-watch for me because it's one of my favorite mangas that's currently running. Shinzo Arakawa wants nothing more than to pass his Shinichi exam, the test that would make him a top-rank headliner and master storyteller in the traditional Japanese art of Rakugo. His daughter, Akane Osaki, is his biggest fan and even practices the same performances while watching him behind the closed door to his study. When Rakugo master Isha Arakawa expels everyone after the exam with no explanation, a fire is lit inside Akane. From that day forth, she has had one goal: to avenge her father and prove his art was worthy of the title of Shinichi. There's a couple of terms thrown around in this explanation that might not make sense to everybody. Akane Banashi is about Rakugo. It is essentially a solo performance storytelling art form from Japan that we mentioned this in the past, but it was more popular predominantly in, I would say, between the 60s and the 80s, with the advent of TV kind of eating into the popularity of these performance arts quite a bit. And I would say, like, even though like it's a fairly successful niche in this day and age, if you look it up online, there really isn't a lot of information about Rakugo.
Oh man!
So it very much is niche. Well, what's up, Matt?
Rakush, would you say TV killed the Rakugo star?
Yes, yeah, basically, yes, that's a good one. But Akane Banashi, this manga has been going on for, I believe, 5 years at this point.
Yeah.
It started around the same time as like Dawn to Dawn did. I think it was slightly before MarriageToxin started. So like, you're seeing a lot of these like Shonen Jump mangas, like, you know, really just kind of get these anime adaptations now, and like you're seeing what, like, you know, the last successful generation, or at least the latest successful generation of Jump manga was, not counting Chainsaw Man, but yeah, it was like all in the early 2020s. And I have really enjoyed reading this one, just generally because of my affinity for performance arts from Japan as well. Mentioned when we were talking about this in comparison to Showa Rakugo, this one's going to be a little bit more shonen heavy than it is going to be Rakugo heavy. Which, you know, so far, I actually don't think it's been that shonen-esque in the first 3 episodes. But I still am enjoying this, and I think ultimately, like, this is more of like a long haul series. Like, I want to see what it looks like once, like, you know, your main character has more experience in Rakugo and is doing these performances that are meant to evoke this sort of, like, you know, immersiveness and, like, you know, make you feel like you are part of, like, these worlds and stuff as well, right? So, like, definitely understand why the first 3 episodes are not meant to make you feel like you are immersed in, like, this other world and stuff as well. Before I go into, like, you know, the whole sort of like meta conversation around this one, Matt, what are your thoughts on this series?
I think that this is a good series that has no relevance to me as a person. I think it is just so far like just not my flavor. Like, this is very much, you can have like the most tastiest peach, but there's people out there who don't like peaches type of shit for me.
I think that's fair.
Yes, because like I very much like recognize like the quality and like the storytelling style of the show, but yeah, I think like overall, just like content wise, the storytelling style wise, like everything is just is unfortunately just not for me. But I do think that it's really cool that they're putting this anime out on YouTube. I thought that was like a wild drop.
I'm glad that you mentioned that as well. And yes, pinning the YouTube thing for a short second, but I do agree with you that this is a very niche series, right? Like, I don't...
Like, I think I only got like 30 or so chapters in when it initially like came out, and like I was like, oh yeah, okay, I think like this isn't for me.
It's very standard shonen fare. Like, this character goes on a side quest, needs to learn a specific story, goes through a bunch of experiences, things suddenly click for her, she learns the story. It's not breaking, or it's not introducing new concepts in shonen manga, right? Like, the thing I like about this is it's not a battle manga. It is a shonen manga in the sense that, like, it is in Shonen Jump. It is for that audience. But really, like, there's no villain per se. Like, there's assholes.
Yeah.
But there's no real, like, villain that you're trying to beat or surpass or whatever. I think it's just a really cool story of the journey of someone learning this art form, I think, you know? And Jaren, I did want to ask you as well, like, what is your experience with, like, watching any Japanese performance arts? Like, is this all, like, a little bit too new of a concept for you? But, like, yeah, what's like your context with these things?
Again, something I respect. Haven't been able or fortunate enough to see any live Japanese performances. Even in terms of things that are kind of more accessible, I think one of the things that Cineplex does is every now and then one of their special events will be a live theater production of just a showing. I know, I don't want to say recently, but I think late last year or the year prior, there was the Spirited Away live performance that had a really limited run in the Cineplexes here that unfortunately we didn't get to check out. So again, something I respect, but nothing I've been able to actively or found the opportunity to watch in person, whether here in our home of Toronto or, you know, when we have been in vacation.
No, that's totally fair. And it is admittedly very difficult to get access to even subtitled work, right? Like, I mentioned this in the last episode where we were talking about Coco, but, like, there really isn't a lot of subbed Rakugo content. So,
Rakush,
what's up?
Have you tried watching, like, English Rakugo?
I think there's a cultural disconnect there, right? But, like, I would definitely check it out a little bit. But ultimately, I think that something that I have picked up from, like, reading this series and, you know, just watching Show Rakugo as well is there is a lot of practice that goes into delivering the lines in Japanese over the years. And I think that the thing that you're looking for in this specific art form is that repetition and it's that building on experience stuff that I don't know if you can get that by translating to a different language outside of subtitles.
It got that JP meta, is what you're saying.
Basically,
English meta too far behind.
Yeah, basically. I I will admit, I don't know a lot about this art form, but it's something I'm very interested in. Might also have to do with the fact that half my name is in the actual name of this art form.
No. Man, dude, if they ever bring back Metaboss and like Rakusho does some Rakugo, holy shit, yes. You're gonna fucking lose your mind.
Oh, bet. I might just send in a letter to them saying, hey, my name is Rakush, just so you guys know. But yeah. Mm-hmm. But no, like I've enjoyed this so far. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a fantastic adaptation because there's not a lot that actually happens in the early parts of this series. I think I'm really enjoying it because I know what's about to come up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will admit, probably difficult for me to recommend this to others, even though it's a must-watch for me.
I think, honestly, when I was watching the episode, one of the things I was like kind of majorly disappointed by, and I don't know if they do this maybe in the later episodes, but I was really hoping that they would have like at least like a short non-cut performance of like a Rakugo set
without interruption.
Yeah. And I was kind of like, I understand why they wouldn't put it in, but I don't know, that was something that I was really hoping for that they would put into the anime.
Yeah. I fully agree with you, right? I think when you read it, it's a different immersion than when you're watching it. When you're reading it and you see someone's inner thoughts pop up as a word bubble, it's a lot easier to kind of like look past that and like stay immersed in the actual story. But yeah, I think you're right, is that the way that they're kind of interrupting the storytelling, I think it is by design, by the way, because the voice actors are not professional storytellers, right? Like, from what I've read, like they did practice in it, and like there's a lot of practice that has gone into it. There's some BTS footage as well about that stuff. But ultimately, it's not going to be a one-to-one rendition of what an actual Rakugo performance ends up being as well. So I think like there is a lot of that essentially happening there as well. So I kind of get that. But I do agree with you that I wish like, there was at least like with the masters or like, with the Futatsumes, like there was a little bit more of an uninterrupted story being told. And I hope that comes up in future episodes as well. But that's, like I will acknowledge, I really enjoy this manga. It's a very niche manga. Is it for everybody? I hope it succeeds, but I also agree with you, Matt, that like there are some things that are not perfect about this one.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that throwing it on YouTube is honestly such a like good move for this series as a whole.
Massive move. I think it's a great idea. And so they do have a non-exclusive streaming thing for Netflix, I believe, but it is also being released by TV Asahi, fully subbed, in some cases dubbed, on YouTube.
Oh, is it dubbed?
So
I didn't even
I
didn't even think to check that
Spanish
option.
version.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just see like the Spanish title for it, so maybe it's Spanish subbed. Apologies, but fully subbed at least. I can confirm that because I watched episode 3 this morning on YouTube, subbed on YouTube. So like it is free to watch. If you're in a country where it's not available, VPN, free to watch. I think it is a really smart decision. Is it confirmed for a specific reason? Not really. Like I was looking up a little bit of info on that, and the only thing I really see is like there's a write-up on Anime News Network that is talking about how the production committee essentially didn't want to tie themselves down to an exclusive streaming deal. But there's also like these broader parts about how sort of like the Rakugo Association and stuff is coming together surrounding this series. And a fun little local connection is that there is actually Canadian-born Rakugoka Katsura Sunshine, who is also kind of who took part in the release festivities in North America for this one. One at the Japan Society premiere and one at Anime Boston in April, which also tells you like the production committee, the Rakugo Association, they are looking at this series as a little bit of this like bridge between sort of like, not just like North American audiences in the series, but I think within Japan itself as well, to continue to heighten the popularity of Rakugo, based on this manga existing as well. So that's where it's like, I hope it succeeds because I think there's some really cool stuff here. And I want to see more stuff in North America that's not just English Rakugo. I think like that's where for me it's like I would love to see more subbed content or more content that like is in the original language, because I think there is something really cool about the concept itself. It's just there's a lack of available things to really enjoy it without understanding Japanese fully. The other thing I did want to talk about with Akane Banashi is I have to give props to the fact that they got an artist named Kawada Keisuke to do the opening and ending for this series. Now, the funny thing about this one is before they actually announced who was doing the opening and closing, I remember messaging Matt a couple of days before that for an entirely unrelated reason about Kawada Keisuke. And then it's like a few days out, he was like, yeah, I have no idea who this guy is. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. He's like a really popular old musician. And then a few days later, you see that he's doing the opening for Akane Banashi, and he's also doing the closing. And just as far as like context, this is a very popular musician in Japan. Like I would say stylistically and popularity wise, he is someone I'd consider a Billy Joel-esque musician. So like it's to me a pretty cool touch that like, and it's someone that was popular mostly in the 70s and 80s. If you're talking about when Rakugo was at its most popular as well, 70s, 80s, right? So like they absolutely have like, this perfect harmony happening between like the music and the performance and like, just sort of like the overall art design and the direction of like, the music and everything. It's great. I love it. And I think like, it's kind of like bringing together a few of these like retro things about Japan that I am personally fascinated by. So yeah. I think it's like it was an easy sell for me, even in manga form. But the fact that like they have a musician like Kawada Keisuke doing the music for this, I think is doubly awesome. So that's why it's like an easy recommendation for me to say like, if for example, Jaren, you're like listening to me talk about this and wondering like, is this for you? I think just from like a meta standpoint and like, just sort of like a hey, is it cool that the production committee fully understands what they're working with standpoint? I think yes to both. I would highly recommend it from that perspective.
Even though like I do say like this is like a pass for me, I do think that realistically for like most people, this should be at least mid probation. Like you should at least check out the first episode to see what's up, especially since it's on YouTube and like basically free.
Yeah, it seems like the full series is going to be free on YouTube. I think they are. By the way. So, yeah, like highly recommend checking it out. I would say if you're doing a probation for this, as of where episode 3 ends, I think you might actually want to do a 4-episode probation for this one because it seems like the first quote unquote practiced performance or like one of the early story arcs paying off is going to happen in episode 4. So I think that's where you probably want to go up until, just to see if this is something of interest to you. It's definitely not perfect by any means, but I think it's interesting enough. And yeah, I think that's where... any last thoughts on this one, or are we good to wrap up our anime preview for the spring season, Matt?
I think I'm good. Sorry, wait, no. I just want to throw a quick thing out to the food diary of Miss Maid. I was watching this last night at about 8 p.m. And this is a show about just like basically a girl just living in Japan, and it is just one of those shows where like, oh, she's just gonna like, try out different foods. I left my house at 8 p.m. after I watched the show to go look for taiyaki. Because they had taiyaki on the show. And I think I'm not going to keep watching the show, but it's going to be there for a day when like, oh, I want to eat something. I'm just going to scrub through whatever they had on their episodes and see what's up.
I beg feel that.
I didn't find the taiyaki, you guys. I was really disappointed.
Hey, head over to my neighborhood. There's a lot of taiyaki here if you ever want.
Yeah, but that's a really far walk, Rakush.
Well, yeah, I would imagine you would take some mode of transportation that's not your legs or a bike.
Nah, but... I don't believe it. In wheels. What is this?
Oh, okay, this guy. All right. Are you gonna fly here? You're gonna take a helicopter here? I get it. It's cool.
Honestly, I think if I were to personally go to your neighborhood, Rakush, I'd take the train.
Train's got wheels.
No, those are tracks, Rakush. Trains don't use wheels,
gosh.
idiot.
Take it to don't match me, dude. Just let's end it here.
Okay. Let's go over to the Don't Match Me challenge. This is, as always, this is a game that we do at the end of every episode of the Mistake Zone, and the rules are that I, the question asker, am going to ask you, the listener, along with my co-hosts, 5 questions, and I'm going to give 5 answers. The goal for you, the player, is to provide answers that don't match my answer. And of course, if that sounds too easy for you, you can also try to not match Jaren and Rakush at the same time. And remember that this is a podcast, so if you need time to think, just hit that pause button, Google an answer, and then start us back up again, because we're always going to be on the other side of that play button. And you guys, I wrote a Don't Match Me Spring Edition. Because, of course, we're in the spring anime season.
Yes, and we're in the spring times for our youth.
Oh, I'm really glad that you said that, Rakush, because I'm going to rearrange one of these questions. Because Rakush, I guess now my new question one is that, spring is the springtime of our youth. And, that applies anywhere. This is the time where you're going out, finding yourself, finding love, and that sort of thing. And one major difference that Japan has from us here in North America is that their school year also starts in the spring rather than our starting in the fall. So I want you to name any romance anime that takes place in a school. Really easy one. So then the anime is 3, 2, 1. I'm going with a personal favorite of mine. I'm going with Horimiya.
Okay.
Jaren, what would you go with?
I'm basing this off love at first sight in a school, and I flipped a coin for mine, so I'm going with My Dress Up Darling.
Classic. Rakush, what'd you go with?
I'm gonna go with Love is War. I came up earlier.
Ooh, good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Going on to question 2. Of course, I want you guys to name any video game that has distinct seasons in it.
Video game with seasons in it.
Doesn't have to be the word season. Like the game. There's gameplay mechanics around seasons.
Now, okay, gameplay around seasons. So, like, even if it's like a different part of the map, for example, where the weather changes, like that's fine.
No. Sorry, it should be one where it like rotates seasons. All right. So then that video game in 3, 2, 1. I am gonna, of course, go with The Legend of Zelda: Oracle of Seasons.
Of course.
Good one.
Jaren, what'd you go with?
First one to come to mind are the Forza Horizon games. Starting with, I believe, 4 is when the seasons were introduced.
Rakush, what'd you go with?
I'm gonna go with Red Dead Redemption 2. And I actually think I'm okay because the prologue / chapter 1 actually ends at the end of winter. So there is a time lapse that happens there.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like that counts.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You guys, I had to go look up like technically when spring is. And I was very surprised to see that on the National Research Council of Canada, spring starts on March 20th at 2:45 p.m. And it ends on June 21st at 8:24 a.m. I did not know they were put in timestamps when spring and summer and these seasons end.
Interesting.
But the reason that I brought that up is that I want you guys to name any holiday or like observance type thing in spring. So like, something that's like, hey, this is whatever, like we're celebrating this month, or it is like whatever day, like today. So name that holiday observance in 3, 2, 1. Guys, I gotta represent where May is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Jaren, what do you got?
I'm gonna go with shout out to all the moms for Mother's Day.
Okay. Rakush, what do you got?
I feel like I got my priorities wrong, but I'm going with 420.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Make a wish.
Make a wish. Make a wish. Make a wish today.
Wish for weed.
All right. Going on to question 4. You guys, I want you to name any Easter candy or Easter candy variant. And what I mean by that is that something like candy canes are a Christmas candy, and pumpkin-shaped Reese's are a Halloween candy. So, name that candy in 3, 2, 1. I'm going with Hershey's Eggies, which are... They're basically like mini eggs, but instead of chocolate, they're filled with Reese's peanut butter. And I have a 900-gram bag in my hand right now. But
wait, isn't there Reese's egg as well? So isn't that just like Hershey's making the same thing?
No. It's, you know how like a Cadbury mini egg is like solid chocolate all the way through, and it has that shell, that like crackly shell on it. Imagine that, but instead of chocolate inside of it, it's peanut butter. Not peanut butter, Reese's filling. Sorry. But Jaren, what'd you go with?
I went with the thing I had most recently, which was a Cadbury caramel egg.
Is that different than the cream egg?
This one was just caramel.
Oh, interesting.
Do you guys like Cadbury cream eggs?
It's a lot of caramel.
Wait, Rakush, what'd you go with? Sorry.
I went with Peeps.
Classic
Those marshmallows.
Peeps.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Cadbury mini eggs? Or not mini eggs. The cream eggs.
I think when I was younger, I did. I think I've lost my sweet tooth a little bit for that level of sugary. Like, I can still do a lot of sugar, but just not that sweet.
I see. Jaren?
Acquired taste, but I think as I got older, I like the McFlurry variant, but the McFlurry is the only way I can have one now.
Oh, okay. Because I haven't had them since I was young, and I remember thinking they were kind of gross when I was young, but I'm wondering if like I'd like it now.
I mean, give it a shot.
Maybe
it's the only one way to find out.
Maybe.
Relive
but I
youth.
think I missed the boat on getting that this year. But guys, for my last question, the most specific question, I want you to name a spring month in the Northern Hemisphere.
Oof.
There's only 4 answers for this. Okay. All right. This is like ultra hard mode.
We're going back to classic. Don't match me here. So, name that month in 3, 2, 1. I'm going with the starting month of March. Jaren, where'd you go?
I thought my answer would bring me April showers if we matched Matt, but I went with April.
Rakush?
Somehow we didn't match. I went with June.
Ooh, okay. I hope the listener was also able to dodge that one. But
I hope they picked me flowers.
But that was the spring Don't Match Me challenge.
That was.
Oh man,
made it through.
Matt, did you say that with the spring in your step?
Meaty.
Yo, I said it with a spring in my voice, Jared. I think.
Okay. But boys, that was a beefy boy episode of the mistakes.
That reminded me, you guys. Sorry, Jared. To interrupt your closing. Have you guys tried skipping lately?
Skipping?
Yes.
Skipping. Have you guys tried skipping? Okay.
No. Funny story. I actually went to the gym for the first time in like a year or 2 weeks ago, and basically fainted.
Were you doing the 6-7 challenge, Rakush? Is that why you fainted?
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh. You know the hand movement where you just like put your hands up and down for 6-7? There's a challenge where you just do it as fast as you can for as long as you can. And it's just a bunch of people just like passing out.
No. I just didn't drink water while I was on the exercise.
Classic.
I can do it. Skipping, sometimes I'll throw in during the warm-up. Just get the blood flowing. Get the heart racing a bit. Skip a bit after some stretches, But...
Oh, wait, sorry. I'm talking about... Wait, are you skipping rope?
Or no, like...
I meant skipping frolicking.
Yeah. Like...
No.
You do that with... Okay. Sometimes I'll skip into a high knee as part of my warm-up. Just and then do a little body twist. Probably not optimal, probably not efficient, but it makes me feel like I'm having a good time. Just like boys, I had listening to all your spring season anime as well as retelling my existential dread of going to Record Store Day this year. But as always, gotta thank one of my best friends in the whole wide world for joining me this week, and also bringing us a Don't Match Me challenge, and that is Matt Alba. So thanks, Matt.
Yo, thanks, Jaren. As always, I wanted to thank you for, well, I guess this isn't always that. I want to thank you for, giving up sleep to basically sit here for 2 hours and listen to me and Rakush talk about anime.
Hey, man, I do that on the episodes I'm not on. It's like we're all working out together, boys. It's like we're all working out together, skipping in the gym. But also got to thank one of my other best friends in the whole wide world, Rakush, for joining us this week, bringing some anime and, accompanying me in my skipping adventures in the gym. So thanks, Rakush.
Hell yeah, pal. Anytime. We'll be back in 3 months with another preview episode, I'm sure.
Unless all the anime go away, which is also a plot of a anime or a manga story. I'm sure if we looked it up. And actually,
I'm sure if it...
a lot of sentences said that could be their own anime that I should have wrote down, but I didn't because I'm a sleepy boy. But Matt, with that under our belt, please take it away.
This has been the Mistake Zone, and we're all out of keeping Jaren awake.
Damn.
Oh, man.